Welcome, everyone, to Kennesaw, Georgia at a chilly Wallens Family Field at Fifth Third Stadium. The Kennesaw State Owls and their first-year head coach, Jerry Mack, just a win away from bowl eligibility in year 2 as an FBS program. Their fans hoping to witness history tonight inside this stadium as they get set to host UTEP, fresh off a bye week following just their second win of the season. Alongside the former Notre Dame star Darius Walker, I'm Chucky Kemp. Well, not just limited expectations entering the season for Kennesaw State, no expectations. This was a team not just projected toward the bottom of Conference USA, but all of the FBS. Here they are, a win away from bowl eligibility.
It's really the biggest story in Conference USA. They had 2 wins last year. Now they've already on a run, and they're undefeated in conference play this year. Coach Mack really has the team going in the right direction. I'm excited to watch them compete tonight because history could be made.
Yep. They've got 2 quarterbacks that have played pretty equally. It seems like Amari Odom has been the favorite, but he left last week's game injured, so we expect to see Dexter Williams first with Amari Odom potentially available.
And it's kind of a surprising thing to say when you talk about a top team having 2 different quarterbacks that have played, but Dexter Williams and Amari have both played really, really well. And here's the thing about Williams. He's a dynamic guy, but he's also a dual threat. Running the football is something that he can make a difference with here today. So expect to see number 5 keep it some, move around the pocket to extend plays and make big plays with his legs as well as his arm. But both quarterbacks are really good.
On the other side, it's all about defense for UTEP. Micah Davey leads Conference USA in tackles. He's got to set the tone.
He's legit, and he's probably the best linebacker in Conference USA, maybe in all of college football. 48 will be flying around the football field today. They need him in a hurry. He's going to have to make a difference early in this game, but expect to see him play well.
Big night in Kennesaw, Georgia, one that many would not have expected to be here, but the Owls have won 5 straight games, trying to make it 6 straight and become bowl eligible. Their only 2 losses, a 1-point loss on the road at Wake Forest in week 1, and a loss to the team that has beat everybody they've played in Indiana on the road as well.
You know, Chucky, we got a chance to see them that week 1 in that Wake Forest game, and the team that played that game looks very different than what we've seen on film the past couple of weeks.
And Wake Forest turned out to be a really good football team this year. They're 5-2 right now as Jackson Cleaver tees it up to send it away to Cody Jones, deep for Kennesaw. Backtracking instead. It's not Jones across to the 22. That's where Kennesaw State will take over for the first time. An offense, Darius, that has really started to click over the last 2 weeks. We've seen both quarterbacks do it. They have averaged 40 points per game, over 40 first downs, and both of their passing performances are 2 of their top 3. Dexter Williams came in relief last week. The rushing touchdown you saw, but the second play was a 70-yard passing touchdown.
Yeah, I was excited to see that. He can show you that he has an elite arm as well. Now they've got Chase Belchler, number 4, starting today. He's normally the 3rd-string guy. Bennett's been limited. We may see him today.
First pass is into the turf. Lyndon Ravar, the intended receiver. This is a tempo offense. What would you tell a viewer that hasn't seen Kennesaw State play tonight about how this is going to look?
Well, they're going to go fast. You're going to see a lot of different trips formations. They like to move guys around, but they extend with the wide trips. When we see it, I'll point it out because it's a little bit unconventional and different than what other teams do in their trips formations.
All 3 running backs tonight are available, but you said it, Chase Belcher going to get the start. Bennett and Diggs both a little banged up. Williams on the keeper. He's hit hard from the other side. Udoka Izani, the redshirt senior from Richmond, Texas, on the stop.
Izani transferred in from Boise State. At 6'1", 216 pounds, he makes a lot of plays for them on the edge, and that edge is going to be crucial for UTEP tonight to be able to slow this offense down in between the tackles. Now, this is a 3rd down situation here, Chucky. Expect to potentially see blitz. They like to put Jaden Wilson in the middle of the defense and rush him at times.
Belcher, the back, they're going to give it to him. He tries to jump through the hole, but he's dragged down by Micah Davey, his first stop of the night.
And we talked about him at the top and how elite he is. Watch him track here with his ability to be able to track in the middle of this as the ball gets started. He'll come in to the left of the screen and dive in. That's an instinctive linebacker. He's 4 or 5 yards away from the play, but showing you that instinct and that athleticism to be able to get in and to make a play. Now, we do have an injured Owl on the turf right now.
It's the right guard, J.T. Pennington.
Looks like that's Pennington. Yeah, he's one of their returning starters there on the offensive line.
It's one of the big stories for them, Darius, when you talk about a team who's played 2 quarterbacks as much as they have. The offensive line, same 5 starters every game this year. Only a handful of teams in the country have been able to say that.
I can't imagine. That is impressive to have the same 5 guys, and especially at this point in the season where you see a lot of guys get dinged up. So we'll see if we can't get word about JT Pennington here, but they need him on this offensive line. Let's take another quick look here, Chucky, to see if we can see what happened to 65. Not exactly sure what happened there. He's going against Ashton Cocker, number 90. The big nose tackle for the Miners.
Still a long look at Pennington, who's a redshirt senior from Wilsonville, Alabama. He's a returning starter. This is year 3 for him at Kennesaw State. A couple years to start his career at Jacksonville State. Obviously concern from his teammates as well. Never want to see this. And
yeah, the tough part for them too is he's a leader for them, one of the lone seniors. We'll take a quick break and check on Pennington.
Media timeout.
JT Pennington helped off the field just moments ago, putting no weight on that left leg. Hopefully he is all right. Jerry Mack now questions early in this game how they'll adjust their offensive line. Year 1 for him here. Year 2 is an FBS program. It's a team that went 2-10 a year ago. They started 0-6 before an upset win over Liberty. And here they are, 5-2, winners of 5 straight, and trying to become bowl eligible for the first time in program history. Josh Hewitt, the punter, to send this deep to Eric Willis III, a senior from Pennsylvania. Hewitt barely gets that away. That could have been a big problem for Kennesaw State. It takes an Owls bounce down to the 20-yard line. That was nearly blocked off the foot of Hewitt.
Yeah, he was lucky to get this football off. Did a nice job of just settling in to try to kick that. But the Miners almost got there in the kicking game, and that's the real story too with a lot of these games, especially conference games where you got two teams trying to play fast. Sometimes the kicking game can be the difference in who's in position to win towards the end of the game.
Skylar Locklear starting his third consecutive game. Struggled in the first one, but really good against Sam Houston in their last game. 21 of 26, 236 and 2 scores in the air. Locklear using the legs here on the first play as he's knocked out of bounds by Antonio Stevens.
Now, Chucky, that's some they got success the past couple of weeks, but on allowing Locklear to run the football as a runner. So expect to see him run in and outside. They're going to use his ability and his athleticism. They found a lot of success over the past couple of weeks keeping the football in his arms.
A bunch set to the far side of the field. Locklear keeping it again on the read, and that ball comes out. Kennesaw State has it. They're going to score a defensive touchdown, and the turnover problems for UTEP continue. Caleb Offord, the senior from South Haven, Mississippi.
Well, Chucky, it looked like a fire drill on the quarterback. Marcus Patterson, number 6.
For a touchdown.
The defensive end was the first to get there. He'll be to the left of the screen. You see he's there, and then a number of different guys come and grab him and pull him down. It looked like Taiwan Christopher, number 46, was the one who made the play, and what an incredible job by him as a redshirt freshman. Remember, he's in because Garland Binyard, the starter at will linebacker, is out for the season. So Taiwan making his first start today.
Their first time out of the half.
He makes the biggest play of the game so far.
Had a season-best 7 tackles last week at FIU. They say he has an extremely high ceiling. He is a Georgia native, but he's from Thomasville, Georgia, which is about 250 miles straight south of campus. It's actually just 12 miles away from the Florida border. And he makes probably the biggest play of his young career.
And what a luxury he has had to sit behind Binyard and to learn from him, but that's a big play from a young player in an important moment in the game. Excellent job by Taiwan Christopher.
Caleb Offord was the one that scooped it up. Combination from freshman to senior. Williams on for the extra point, who slips down and makes it. 7-0, the freshman Taiwan Christopher setting the tone.
Without a doubt, and you see all these black jerseys around Locklear. But Christopher's the first to get there, and then the heads-up play by Caleb Offord to pick that up and take it into the house untouched. And that's really the thing about the Owls, that when we spoke to Coach Mack, he talked a lot about just the resilience and the toughness of this team. And when you look at their game last week, Chucky, against FIU, it really was the most complete game that I've seen them play all season in terms of the defense played pretty well, the offense played pretty well, the kicking game played pretty well. So they came into today with a lot of momentum. And as Coach Mack told us, he feels like they're playing their best football right now, which is incredible to say given the position that they're in.
Right now, you can say there's big games ahead, because there are, but every week is big when you're trying to play for a conference championship. We talk so much about the bowl eligibility, but this is a team that's legitimate contenders right now in Conference USA. Britton Williams to send this away deep to Eric Willis. It's going to be Wandami Davis instead on the return. Up the middle, looking for space, nowhere to go. A lot of black jerseys to knock him down at the 22-yard line. Talk to me about ball security when the weather starts to get a little colder here. Is there anything you do differently as a ball carrier?
Well, you certainly want to try to keep both hands on the football for sure, but I think the biggest question for UTEP right now is they're on the road We know that the conditions are cold. This is likely the coldest game that they've played in. So when you're on the road, you're not having the best year. The question becomes when you get down, how you respond. So to me, this is a pretty important series for UTEP to keep themselves motivated in this football game right now early.
Empty backfield for Locklear. Ashton Emery motions back, and he gets the carry hit hard. Christopher is the one there trying to rip it out again. I'll give a freshman a little confidence, and it's dangerous.
He's certainly playing with some energy on the inside of that defense. Incredible job by the young player. Now UTEP also has a tempo offense, so they go fast as well.
2nd and 6. Josh shoots in motion, quick pass, tipped and incomplete. That was read the whole way by Cody Jones, the Memphis native transferred over from Michigan.
Jones just runs right through Eric Willis, number 19, just pushes right into the back. That's an excellent job from Willis by stopping him from picking that football off. Heads up play by the senior wide receiver.
Mark Mattioli, year 1 as defensive coordinator, really enjoying being back in the college game after 4 years in Europe. Said they have had a lot of fun as a staff this season. Passed out wide is knocked away. There is a flag on the field. Jericho Washington was the defensive back that closed that down and knocked it loose. That was right at the snap, though.
We'll see what the call is. You already see the type of football that the Owls are playing defensively. This is the 2nd time they've been on 3rd down and blitzed.
Illegal formation. Offense, number 79 was in the backfield. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
Darius, I thought last week we saw it too, and you're seeing it again tonight from Kennesaw State. There's an attitude right now that this team is playing with, and a confidence that just feels like it is all throughout the team, all 3 phases.
And it actually kind of feels like a little bit of a swagger too, because when we spoke to Coach Mack, he was so calm with his delivery of his system and the culture they're trying to build. He's very confident in his program and what they're doing building these blocks. They've been playing lights out so far here tonight.
Noah Botsford, one of the best punters in the conference, sends a spiraling kick away toward the sideline. Benyard has it, the most dangerous player for Kennesaw State, and he tiptoes out of bounds after a decent little return to set up the Owls offensively with 12:22 to play in the 1st quarter. And Kennesaw State, thanks to a defensive touchdown scored by Caleb Offord, leads it 7-0. You're watching ESPN College Football Weekday Conference USA. Darius, you know why we didn't see any of this? Because we were hiding in the press box from the really not that cold, but 48-degree weather right now.
No, nothing against her, but I need a healthier pour of corn there. I need,
Okay.
just a little bit more for me. But you check out the standings for Conference USA. Kennesaw State right at the top. Jacksonville State and Western Kentucky, who we saw a week ago. A lot of good football happening in Conference USA right now. Now, Chucky, before the break the last few minutes ago, we saw J.T. Pennington go out at right guard. They brought in Cameron Williams, number 64, to replace him.
First play handoff to Belcher, and he is pinged around and finally absolutely nowhere to go. You said it, Cameron Williams, who's a redshirt senior from Montgomery, Alabama, transferred from Alabama A&M. One of the things Jerry Mack talked about when they went into the portal, they wanted guys with experience. This was a four-year starter with over 2,500 snaps. And a flag here as there was movement up front.
Offside. Defense number 48. Enter the neutral zone, causing the offensive player to react. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Micah Davey there. Now, Micah Davey is the green dot guy for the defense.
Please
so he's
reset
got
the game clock to 11 minutes and 57 seconds. 11:57 on the game clock, please.
direct communication with the defensive coordinator, Bobby Daly. But this offensive line for Kennesaw State, we mentioned it. All of the same starters up until today, with Pennington being out. Be interesting to see how that plays through.
Handoff Belcher, who stumbles ahead and dives for the first down to the 46-yard line. The most positive play offensively in the first down of the night for either team. That tempo. Fakes to Belcher, throws out wide for Benyard, who stiff arms one, and he's dragged down from behind by Neil Campbell, one of the corners, grad student from Chicago, Illinois.
That's an incredible job from Campbell there to fight through one blocker to get the guy down.
Gabe Benyard, one of the best in the conference, leads the league in receiving yards, had 97 a week ago at FIU. 2nd and 11, he's in motion. They'll get him the ball a lot of different ways. This is why, makes one miss, almost two more. He dropped the football for a moment.
This is one of the things they love about Benyard is he's so shifty. He's going to go in motion and come back around. Now, Dante Thompson's the guy who has a chance at him, number 12. He's got to settle down and not allow himself to get wiggled out. Benyard's lucky to get that football back. But you see, when you're going up against an elite player like Benyard as a defender, you have to settle yourself to collect your feet, because they'll make you miss.
Kennesaw State 0 for 1 on 3rd down tonight. 3rd and 4 for Williams. Plenty of time in the pocket, now collapsing, takes off running, hit hard, and stopped short of the first down. Micah Davey was the one that knocked him backwards. He got help from Tyler Scott to finish the play.
This is one of those situations for Kennesaw State. If they elect to go for this, they usually would lean on Coleman Bennett, their top rusher. But as we mentioned at the top, he's not available, so Belcher is going to continue. It seems like a moment, or maybe they could take a timeout just to make sure they got the right play.
They've only gone 8 times this year. Williams didn't have what he wanted, but takes off running, and he spun down for a first down. The first read wasn't there, but Dexter Williams takes care of it himself.
This is what they like about him, is his ability to be able to extend plays in a hurry. It looked like they had him dead to rights on the right side, but he does a nice job of just getting upfield and giving his body up to pick up the first down.
Empty backfield. Chase Belcher is in the slot as a receiver, now motions out wide. 1st and 10 at the 47-yard line. Williams stepping up again, plenty of time. Long ball, he's got his man, but just overthrew him. Gabe Benyard had ran past 3 white jerseys, and it would have been 6 if Williams put it on him.
And he had the time there too. This is the area of Williams' game where they're trying to get him to improve on these deep passes. Just being a little bit more accurate. He needed to take a little bit off of that throw to give Benyard the chance to run underneath it. That's a missed opportunity for the Owls.
We weren't sure if we'd see much of Coleman Bennett tonight. He is in the backfield. He only had 4 carries a week ago. He gets it here and gets tackled at the line of scrimmage. Micah Davey again in on the stop. You see why he is one of the nation's top tacklers.
You're just going to see him all night. He is so good navigating traffic as a linebacker to be able to get runners down. One of the best in the business, 11 tackles a game, 5th in FBS. He's elite.
3rd and 10. 9th play of the drive, and we're just beyond the 50-yard line. Gerard Bullock in motion. They hand it off to Bennett. Nowhere to go. K.D. Johnson on the stop to bring up 4th down. That's actually going to be a loss of 1. The 6th TFL for Johnson on the year.
Excellent job by UTEP. They brought the house that time on defense, recognizing that the Owls were likely going to try to run. And there goes Bobby Daly, the defensive coordinator for UTEP. He was at Montana State prior. They like what he's done so far.
Hewitt takes his time, lets his coverage get down. There's a really short kick, and it's going to roll out at the 15-yard line. Kick off your Week 9 NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown Crew on ESPN and the all-new ESPN app. They'll have all the early breaking stories, injury updates, and previews of each game right up to kickoff. How about our Week 9 Monday Night Football matchup? Trey McBride and the Cardinals squaring off against Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and the Cowboys. They need one. Both teams need one. 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the all-new ESPN app. Peyton and Eli on ESPN2. Coverage kicks off with NFL Live at 3 Eastern from AT&T Stadium, and then Scott Van Pelt and the Monday Night Countdown Crew at 6 Eastern. Skylar Locklear and UTEP in need of a positive offensive drive. Swinging it out wide. Was this a backwards pass? It was not, and it's incomplete. To bring up 2nd and 10, Eric Willis was the intended target. It's just not clicking right now offensively.
Well, part of it, too, is Kennesaw State is just playing so fast defensively. They're making decisive decisions all the way around the board, especially in the secondary right now. It's putting a lot of pressure on UTEP. But at some point, Chucky, you got to take a shot. If you're the Miners, give yourselves a chance.
Ashton Emery picked up the blocker. Locklear throwing over the middle, just a little bit off with Eric Willis, who seemed to maybe stop the route and sit in that spot.
Yeah, but these are the moments where you have to have it. Eric Willis is a senior. He does a nice job of just getting up there and settling down into space. Locklear thought he was going to continue on the route. That's one where your quarterback and wide receiver got to be on the same page there. It's too important in these moments to make plays.
3rd and 10 after 2 incomplete passes on the first 2 plays of this drive. Remember, Kennesaw State's only touchdown came on a strip from Tywan Christopher that Caleb Offord returned for a touchdown. Pressure coming. It's a screen pass set up, and they saw it late, and they got there. What a play by Marcus Patterson, who realized it late and tracked down the back.
And it's really the throw that hurt this play from Locklear, because the screen was there, but because he throws this ball up with an arc, almost like a small punt, he throws this football up so high and slow, it allows Patterson to be able to come back into play and make a play on Emery there. Heads up play from Marcus Patterson, but the quarterback can help that situation by giving him a smaller dart with less arc so he can get under it and run.
6'3", 260, moving quick. Western Kentucky transfer Marcus Patterson as Botsford sends it away to Benyard. Fielded at the 44-yard line. Benyard across midfield. Here he goes. Gabe Benyard to the 20, 15. Touchdown Owls. Six-yard punt return for Gabe Benyard.
One of the best players in all of Conference USA. Justin Content had a chance on him, number 18. He was the first one there, but Benyard able to get up into that seam, and he's got the wheels and the speed to take it to the house. We've seen him make plays on offense and on special teams over and over. He is electric.
So he is extremely emotionally, mentally mature, and then also just a superstar in his 5th season at Kennesaw State as Williams tacks on the extra point. Gabe Benyard, their playmaker, getting it done.
He has been fantastic, makes guys miss, he gets up the field. UTEP needs an answer on the other side when we get back.
Kennesaw State up 14-0, still 6:43 to play in the first quarter against UTEP. They have 24 total yards of offense, but thanks to Taiwan Christopher stripping the football, Caleb Offord returning it for a touchdown, and then Gabe Benyard with the punt return touchdown just moments ago. They are off to a fantastic start on what they hope is a historic night for their program. Britton Williams tees it up. Eric Willis and Wandami Davis deep to return. This is going to Davis at the 5-yard line. Davis a little hesitant, and he stopped at the 20-yard line. It's all been special teams and defense for Kennesaw State.
And started off with Taiwan Christopher, number 46, the young player, the redshirt freshman who's playing because Benyard is injured at the linebacker position. He has the strip. Offord takes it to the house. And we just saw this before the break where Gabe Benyard gets this punt return and takes it to the house. And that's the scary thing for everyone else in Conference USA when you're watching this team, because we talked about how dynamic they are offensively. They're getting it done in the kicking game. They're getting it done on defense right now. This is a complete football team.
And they're doing it against UTEP, who their last time out was their second win of the season, played really good at Sam Houston and Skylar Locklear's second start. And then they had the bye week to prepare for this as Locklear is hammered to the ground by the big man, AJ Miller.
That's an incredible job by Miller, but that whole defensive line all got pushed, and I think that's been the difference so far here, Chucky, early in this game. The physicality for Kennesaw State versus UTEP is apparent. The Owls are beating them up.
2nd and 9, Locklear spinning and rolling out all day to throw the football. He's going to take off and run, and he slides down 3 yards shy of the first down marker.
This is something that Locklear is going to have to do a little bit more as this game progresses. Take advantage of opportunities when the defense is in coverage and guys are bailing out to stop the pass. He's going to have to be a little bit more decisive and decide to run a lot sooner than maybe he has in the past to keep this positive yards going on offense.
3rd and 3, need a conversion. Quick throw, they got it. A great pass and catch there. He hit his top target, Kenny Odom, all the way to the 36-yard line.
Yeah, the guy to watch on defense is the Mike linebacker, 16, Silas. He gets out of position there. That allows Odom to be able to sit down in that coverage and catch the football for the first down.
1st and 10, handoff to Emery going right side. He's hit hard just across the 40, and again, it's Tywan Christopher who is stepping up in the absence of Garland Benyard, who is out for the season.
Officials timeout for a helmet off for the offense.
He's looking fantastic for sure. Nice job by James William, too, the left guard that time, trying to get some push up front. And this is what you want if you're UTEP. It's 2nd down and short. To get that kind of productivity on 1st down is huge, because now in 2nd down, you can take a shot, you can do a trick play. The playbook is open.
2nd and 5, Hassan Wilson, who didn't play a week ago or 2 weeks ago against Sam Houston, is in the backfield and gets his first carry. He's bottled up after about 2 yards. Jaden Grimes, Marietta native, is the main stopper on that play.
Here's the thing offensively right now, Chucky, for UTEP. They cannot be conservative. They're already down 2 scores. They got to try to be aggressive to give themselves a chance to stay in this football game.
3rd and 3, trying to convert on back-to-back attempts. 1 for 3 tonight.
And Odom's going to be at the bottom of the screen, number 6, in that bunch formation in the back. He's usually the guy they lean on.
Play action. Locklear felt a little heat, rolls out, throws a long way back toward Odom and out of bounds to bring up 4th down.
Benyard, where he is on the sideline there. Garland Benyard, one of their leaders, the 5th-year senior.
Gabe's brother, so he's still watching his brother get it done for this team.
Without a doubt. Unfortunate to be out for the season. They certainly going to miss that productivity, but he has to be excited about how his defense is playing right now.
His brother Gabe gets another opportunity from Noah Botsford here on 4th and 3 near midfield. Toward the sideline, and they're going to keep it away from Gabe Benyard. Probably a wise decision. Already trailing 14-0 as Skylar Locklear and his head coach try and figure things out.
Well, the truth is right now for UTEP, at least defensively, the offense for the Owls and Kennesaw State really haven't gotten much going here today. They're doing a good job defensively. So they need to continue to thrive on that and use that as motivation to try to spark on the offensive side, because they're playing good defense. They just got to settle in on the other facets, the kicking game and offense, to give themselves a chance to get back in this game.
Dexter Williams just 1 for 3 passing for -1 yard. He's got 8 rushing yards on the day. Trying to throw it here on 1st and 10. Going to take off and run. Makes 1 miss and dives under a couple tacklers, but he's going to get about 7 yards on 1st down.
And you can't do this if you're UTEP defensively. They only rush 3, so they're dropping everyone in coverage. Williams is too good of a quarterback and too athletic. He will beat you up when he takes off and run.
Chase Belcher is the back. That's Benyard, who's just behind the right tackle in this formation. In motion, Williams rolling that direction, throwing inside. You could hear the hit up top. Christian Moss on the grab. Micah Davey with his 5th tackle already in this game.
And he's just incredible. I mean, what a clinic he's putting on right now, number 48 for UTEP.
Handoff up the middle to Belcher. And Belcher dragging bodies beyond the 40-yard line. He gets 12 on first down to move the chains again.
Terrific job by the Owls on this offensive line of getting up to Micah Davey. They're trying to combo up to number 48. You see he gets pushed off by the center there. Nice job. That's what will be required to get some running space.
Williams play action, plenty of time, airing it out, Benyard diving, and he can't quite get it. The second time we've seen Gabe Benyard running downfield alone, and they can't connect.
And this has been the issue with Williams, are the deep passes, just being accurate on the deep passes. He's a step or two too far. But Solo Barnes, number 5, the safety, got lost in coverage. Not exactly sure what he saw in the backfield, but UTEP is lucky to get away with that one. But that's the area for Dexter Williams. If he can figure out how to settle in and set his feet on those deep throws, be a lot of trouble for defenses across the country.
Showing off the arm strength, just has to dial it in a bit, getting it out quickly to Clayton Kopic, who shoots downfield, dragged down from behind at the 47-yard line. Tyler Scott on the stop.
Now the linebacker is outside of Micah Davey, so we know number 48, Micah Davey, is a baller. Jaden Wilson, number 10, has got to improve with his ability in space to be able to get defenders down. He had another opportunity there to stop that for a short gain, and he missed. They need Jaden Wilson to improve immediately and in a hurry.
Third and 5 for Dexter Williams. Has time, rolling out, flips it down the sideline, and it is incomplete. They're going to say Coleman Bennett was out of bounds when he caught the football.
Not sure what happened to Elijah Baldwin there, number 32, the defensive end. He's the one who's covering Bennett. He just kind of looks around and doesn't see the football. The football goes right across his face. If he had turned around and looked, he would have had a chance to catch that football for an interception. Got to get that head around. That's asking a lot of a defensive end there. I get it, but in these type of games, the takeaways are crucial. But a good job by UTEP and the Miners of getting off the field.
The ruling on the field of an incomplete pass is under review.
I'm going to take another look at this here, Chucky, just to confirm. A nice job by Williams of throwing it there. Looked like he stepped out of bounds, too, prior to that. So they may take another look at this, but it looks like that left foot or right foot, yeah, goes out of bounds, both feet out of bounds before he caught that ball. So
did he go out on his own? Was he pushed out?
best angle there. 2 steps out of bounds.
Is that right foot back in when he makes the catch, and was he pushed out, or did he go out on his own accord? Obviously there he's out of bounds.
Let's see. Hard to see if there's an extension prior to him going out of bounds from Elijah Baldwin. There you go. It looks like he does extend those arms a bit.
Wait the word from our replay officials on what could, instead of force a punt here, move the chains for Kennesaw State. Our referee Douglas Mercer in contact with them.
Athletic footwork, though, from Coleman Bennett there, showing you why they really need to have him in the football game. So good in space, but also really good as a wide receiver out of the backfield. Those soft hands. He had a receiving touchdown last week.
After video review, the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass is upheld. 4th down.
really surprised about that one, because it did look like you could tell he was out of bounds as it related to it. So good call. So for UTEP defensively, again, they have played really well so far early in this game as a defense. They got to get the other facets to catch up.
Part of the problem for UTEP this season, the defense, which has been really good, is just on the field all the time as Hewitt sends it away, but he took forever, so Willis just has to fair catch this inside the 20-yard line for the Miners to take over again.
Now, last series, Chucky, we saw the Miners be super conservative with the play calling. They had a third down situation, a second down situation. They elected to run and then not try to spread the football out. I would love to see them come and air it out, give themselves a chance to take a shot, do a trick play, but something to be aggressive on this series, because they desperately need some life and a spark. Sometimes you got to force it with the play call.
1st and 10 at the 17-yard line. Locklear maybe looking downfield this time. Little comeback route, but it's dropped out wide by Wandami Davis, who has been their big play man this year, averages about 21 yards per catch. Can't haul that one in.
And that's one he's got to make. That football hit him in the hands, and I think we're just seeing this right now, that for UTEP, the Miners are just a little off. I'm not sure if they didn't come to play. Maybe the off week didn't help them. The guys that usually make plays are not making them today. Luckily for them, it's still early, a ton of football left, but they've got to settle in.
2nd and 10, little trickery here on the reverse, and Kennesaw State was all over it. It was Marquez Taylor, the ball carrier. The black jerseys got there quickly.
Officials timeout for helmet off to the defense.
And that's just a heads-up play defensively. I like the call, though. Trying to run a reverse to get a star elite athlete the ball in his hands to make a play in space. Look, it didn't work, but you have to try it if you're UTEP, given how this game is feeling right now.
There's not one that felt good for Marquez Taylor getting hit by Jaden Grimes that hard. Locklear stepping up. He's got all day wandering around, and now he crosses the line of scrimmage and runs out of bounds.
I mean, Chucky, come on. He's got to run. He has to run. There was green grass all in front of him. He could have easily picked up that first down. Look at the space on this play. When he gets out of the pocket to his left, there is no one there. He has to move. He has to decide to run that to give themselves a chance. It's just about creating positive plays.
Whistles before this punt.
Delay of game. Offense, snapping the ball when the ball was not ready for play. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
First time you see one of those season for us.
Please set the game clock to 1 minute, 7 seconds. 1:07 on the game clock, please.
Like Scotty Walden was saying, you put the ball's down, but
they weren't ready. Wow. Redo here on the punt.
They gave Benyard a chance that time. Botsford on the last punt kept it away from Gabe Benyard. That time Benyard would have had an opportunity. We'll see if they do give him a chance. It's going to be great field position for Kennesaw State regardless of a return. Botsford gets it away, kind of an end-over-end kick. It takes a big hop toward Benyard, and they will down it at the 36-yard line. 14-0, Owls leading the Miners, trying to get a little revenge. One of the 3 wins UTEP had in Scotty Walden's first season was actually over Kennesaw State in a wild double overtime game. It was played in November last season in El Paso.
You see Walden, he is livid about that special teams penalty.
Benyard in motion. Williams handing it off up the middle, and UTEP read it well. Jaden Wilson on the stop. El Paso native, starred at Austin High School.
And that's what you want to see from Wilson. He's making up for a couple of plays earlier where he got lost in space. Nice job coming inside and making a big play. That's what they need out of number 10 and these other linebackers.
2nd and 8. Belcher the back, play action fake. Williams downfield, it's dropped. It would have been a first down to the 50-yard line, but Ravar couldn't hold on to it.
And that's a costly drop because that ball hit Ravar right in the chest as he was going down. He didn't have a whole lot of traffic around him either. That's one he has to have. And that's been the biggest surprise for Kennesaw State, is offensively, they're not really gelling either.
3rd and 8, Williams. Long drop back, little tunnel screen, but it's tripped up. Davis Bryson, last year's starting quarterback, on the catch.
I was Justin Content there. Excellent job from the corner position of going upfield to make a play. So the defense for UTEP continuing to keep them in this football game.
That is the end of the first quarter. That'll
do it for the first quarter. Kennesaw State off to a flying start. Tough to play the Owls at night, Darius. 14-0 over UTEP. After one quarter, Kennesaw State hoping to become bowl eligible in just their 2nd season as an FBS program. UTEP off to a slow start offensively. defense, as you've mentioned, Darius, has been really good, but it's been special teams and defensive touchdowns for Kennesaw State that are the difference. Eric Willis deep to return this punt from Josh Hewitt that will start the second quarter. And again, Hewitt just gets that away. This is a great punt that backs Willis up inside the 15 all the way to the 14-yard line.
Now, Chucky, a little bit of a hot take here. Not suggesting that Locklear hasn't played well enough, but there are moments that has to do with it. I would consider Nelson at this moment. Their backup quarterback, Malachi Nelson, started this season as the starter. I would consider putting him in the game at some point. We know that he can play. He was highly touted coming out of high school, part of that Arch Manning recruiting group, was a 5-star guy. They need to consider giving Nelson an opportunity before it gets out of hand.
He's the #1 recruit in the 2022 class, went to USC last year at Boise State, now at UTEP. Quick throw and caught by Davis, who shakes down the sideline. One of their best plays of this game so far on the quick route to Wandami Davis.
They're taking advantage of Caleb Offer there, the aggressive nature of him at corner. Always trying to jump those passes. Nice job by Davis of picking up the first down.
Hassan Wilson, the back. Locklear in trouble, and he's dragged down. They got to it on the play-action fake, and it was Baron Hobson, who was the second leading tackler in the conference.
I mean, Hobson runs right over the running back as well. An incredible individual effort from 44 here. Watch him come on the blitz. He pushes through the back, through the guard. What a strong human being Baron Hobson is.
Locklear on the keeper, throws it out wide. It's completed right at the line of scrimmage, and they get just past the original line. It's Willis, the punt returner, on the grab.
That's a nice job by Locklear there of just getting upfield. Again, it's just about having positive yardage on each play to try to build a little bit of momentum to give yourselves a chance. That was a decisive decision made there from Skylar Locklear. They need more of that to have some success here on offense.
UTEP 1 for 5 on third down, in part because they've been in these situations, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 and longer. Locklear with time, now on the move. Hit hard, it is caught, but going to be short of the first down. Trayvon Tate on the catch that time.
But I love this here, Chucky. He had a time clock in his head, 2 seconds, he's out and he's off and running. Nice job of at least being decisive on it. As he gets clipped there. It's a pretty big 4th down situation here. Now, typically, Kenny Odom, #6, is the guy they lean on in these moments. Kenny's going to be at the top of the screen there. He's in a slot position. He's the bell cow. He makes all the plays for them on offense. I would not be surprised if they figure out a way to get the football in his hands.
4th and 2. UTEP has struggled on 4th down this season at just 41%. Locklear on the keeper, and a little block from Locklear. Here comes Odom around the side. They've got it, and he's spun down around the 46. You called it. They got the ball to Kenny Odom.
And I love the call here, too, because they're getting Odom in space. They're going to do the fake first to Emery and then pitch the football to Odom with a lead blocker from Locklear. Excellent call. I love the creativity there, but making sure that you put the ball in your playmaker's hands.
1st and 10, Locklear play action. He was looking for Davis, who was double covered, and there's really only a 2-man route here, so Locklear has all day. He finally takes off, breaks a tackle, and he's got a big pickup for another 1st down.
If I'm Coach Walden, I'm having a conversation with my quarterback to say, if you don't see anything within the first 2 to 3 seconds, run the football. He's got to be faster about making that decision. I know he's trying to get the football down the field. I know he doesn't want to make a mistake, but it's too important right now to get positive yardage.
It's interesting, like 2 calls matching up perfectly. Kennesaw State dropped everybody, and it was only a 2-man route. Just nowhere to go.
Whenever you see that, few players rushing, you got to run it from quarterback position.
That was Kenny Odom who took the snap. Now Locklear throwing downfield, and here goes the UTEP offense, still on his feet. Touchdown, Josh Schutz, the redshirt freshman from Tallahassee. His 2nd touchdown in the last 2 games.
And what a sequence of play calling, Chucky. We're seeing the trickery and the creativity from them on offense. Odom's going to get the snap, and Locklear is going to throw it. Now look at Schutz. Look at what happens at the end of this play. The defender just pushes him. Not exactly sure what Caleb Alford saw there. He just pushed. I think he thought he might push him down. But Schutz did not go down, and he takes it to the house. Big response from the Miners.
Carlos Arreola on for the extra point as UTEP gets set. The kick is up, and it's good to cut this lead in half, 14-7. Scotty Walden and Mark Holladarius in their bag offensively.
It's a good look to Locklear, out to Schutz. He makes one guy miss, breaks a tackle, takes it all the way to the house, and the Miners trying to sniff to get back into this football game. They're down 7.
There is a flag on the field.
There is no foul on the play. Try is good. Timeout.
And they were just messing around with us, so it's 14-7 with 11:16 to play in the first half. We've got a ball game in Kennesaw, Georgia. Skylar Locklear and company heating up a little bit after that drive. "86-yard drive for the touchdown, and one of the best celebrations with the pickaxe for Josh Schutz, the Miner of the moment. He had just 43 yards on the season coming into the night. That was a 41-yard touchdown grab for Schutz. Scotty Walden, a man with a lot of energy, trying to get his team going.
It's going to be needed on a cold night in Kennesaw.
Jackson Cleaver, the lefty, sends this away inside the 5-yard line. Bryson breaks one tackle and dragged backwards near the 18-yard line. Our Week 9 Monday Night Football matchup. Trey McBride and the Cardinals squaring off against CeeDee Lamb and the Cowboys. 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the all-new ESPN app. Peyton and Eli are on ESPN2. Coverage kicks with NFL Live at 3 Eastern from AT&T Stadium, and then SVP and the Monday Night Countdown crew at 6 Eastern. The defense for UTEP, you've talked about it, has not been a problem. They have been lights out so far. They'll try and give the ball back to their offense, feeling good about themselves. Quickly, they go left side with Belcher, who is knocked down at the 20-yard line after a very short gain on first down. Micah Davey again in on the stop.
And Chucky, we've talked about how important the linebackers are to UTEP on defense. Micah Davey and Jaden Wilson that time, 48 and number 10, did an excellent job of tracking the running back. Those two guys are critical for them defensively today. Also, we're putting pressure on the quarterback.
That was Davey's 8th tackle. He has 8 in every game this season. Williams on the keeper, and that's a big body to try and bring down. He tumbles forward to the 30-yard line to move the chains.
Now, this is a smart play by Williams, holding that mesh point a step or two longer than usual to get those linebackers to commit.
Dexter Williams, 6'1", 220. Gives this one up the middle. A lot of space for Belcher, who's tripped up and knocked down after a gain of 13. Another first down.
Now, the problem sometimes when you blitz your backers, number 48, Micah Davey, he's to the right. He blitzes. That's where the ball goes, is right at the position where he vacated from his linebacker position. So you live by it, die by it with the blitz sometimes on defense. We've got another injured out here down on the ground. We'll see if we can't figure out who that is.
Chase Belcher, which is bad news for them. We talked about Coleman Bennett and Alexander Diggs. They're both suited up. We've seen Bennett tonight, but both of them dealing with a little bit of injury on their own. So this is going to make the running back situation even more interesting going forward.
Without a doubt. Now, we've seen Coleman Bennett carry the rock a little bit too for them. But right now, thin at the running back position, at least as far as healthy guys go. Wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of young guys get an opportunity there if Coleman Bennett needs a break. See if we can't get word on Belcher and his status moving forward. But Coleman Bennett's out now. See the numbers on the last 3 games. 100 yards per game the past 3 weeks. And what I love is his just ability to be able to break tackles. The yak yards for Bennett are extreme. Really good football player when he's healthy.
Those numbers are with just 18 a week ago due to dealing with the injury at FIU. In the previous 2 weeks, 184 combined. Williams going to throw, looking downfield, a crosser and a nice grab over the middle. Clayton Kopic, just his 7th catch of the season. It's a good one.
And that's a great throw from Williams there. A laser lights out throw in the middle of that defense into the field to pick up the first down.
Bullock in motion to his tight end spot. Williams rolling the other direction. Williams from behind. It is picked off. Caught by Jaden Wilson, who is dropped immediately by Williams, but it's a turnover.
And you have to love it for Wilson to be the recipient of it. But we'll watch Justin Content, number 18. He's going to blitz from his corner position on the backside. Williams doesn't see him. He has no idea that he's there.
Interception.
And he's the one who strips the football. Wilson catches it for the interception.
Darius, that's just the 3rd interception as a team for UTEP this year. That's the lowest number in Conference USA, but it comes at a big time. And now all of a sudden, every bit of momentum is with the Miners right now. Skylar Locklear in the backfield with Hassan Wilson. Shoots in motion. Locklear on the keeper, trying to get outside, and he is knocked down hard, just shy of the 50-yard line, but a good pickup on first down.
It's an excellent pickup on first down. He was reading Donovan Westmoreland, number 14, the rush in for the Owls. And that's what's so critical about first down, is staying on schedule. Second down situation like this, the playbook is open. They can take a shot here as well if they needed to.
Kenny Odom, little trick play here again. Odom with blockers, scoots between a couple of them, and he's got a first down across the 45-yard line. Nice blocking there from Schutz.
Now, Chucky, we asked them this. They didn't give us any information on it about what they did with their bye week. Looks like they installed quite a few creative plays on offense, took advantage of the extra time to add some wrinkles.
We talked about it, coming off their best offensive performance maybe of the year at Sam Houston. This is Odom again taking the snap and getting out wide with his speed. He is met and driven backwards by Alexander Ford. a gain of 4.
It is really tough to get Odom down. Marcus Patterson that time 6 was the first guy to get there. The defensive end, he has a chance, but Odom made a miss and got outside to pick up some positive yards.
This is a completely different UTEP offense than what we saw in their first few drives.
Well, certainly is. Now, defensively for the Owls, I think they need to get back to bringing pressure on Locklear. That worked in the first quarter, dialing up the pressure to rush the aggressiveness.
Locklear, quick throw, caught, and that's going to be close to a first down. Wandemi Davis, the recipient. They do move the chains again inside the 35-yard line.
And I honestly think this is a problem for the Owls defensively, dropping guys in coverage. Locklear has done an incredible job of finding wide receivers in those little zone and in those areas. You have to dial up some pressure or get into man defensively for the Owls.
Hand off to Wilson. Jaden Grimes shot through the line and got there. A gain of nothing on first down.
Now, Jaden Grimes is another guy who's making his first start. It looks like we have an injury there for the Owls. Another guy down.
Officials timeout.
Looks like
Injured defensive player.
Adam Watkins there, number 97, the nose tackle.
This will be immediate timeout.
We'll tend to Watkins, who has played a lot of football at Kennesaw State. We'll be right back.
The College Football Playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the National Championship January 19th on ESPN.
We are marching on toward January 19th. These some of the possibilities outside of the Power Four conferences. South Florida, North Texas, Tulane. We've seen all three of those teams this year. Memphis just picked up a big win over USF. Who do you like most out of this group?
Well, I like North Texas. I think they've done some terrific things there in Dallas. Tulane has also been pretty good. We saw South Florida. We saw them play as well. All these teams are really good. I think the important thing across the board here, Chucky, is the elite coaching that's happening across the board for all of these teams is why they're in position to have a chance as the group of five.
At some point, the dominoes will start to fall in the coaching carousel after all the movement we have seen this season. But UTEP second and 10 out of the timeout, 6:45 to play in the first half. Locklear on the keeper, gets outside, has a nice block out there. He is stuck at the 25-yard line and knocked backward. But again, it's good yardage on first and second down. Part of the third down issues we talked about earlier, they were in third and long situations
Correct.
all the time.
And a lot of it was because they were just slow to make decisions. Nice job by Locklear, though. He took a shot at the end of that play But he did a nice job of reading the end and getting positive yardage, setting themselves up for a third down situation here. Now the deep threat for UTEP is Davis Jr., number 23. He'll be at the bottom of the screen there. Looks like he might have one-on-one coverage. Sometimes in these moments you can take a shot.
They've got a redshirt freshman quarterback, Shea Smith. He takes the snap. He is dragged down. It's going to be close. I think he was about a half yard short of the first down. They snuck Smith out there. He ended up taking the snap, standing next to Locklear. He's going to stay in the game on 4th and inches.
It was a nice job by Tywan Christopher, number 46. Again, the young backer playing lights out right now for Kennesaw State. He makes a big play to set up a 4th and short. We've seen them have a lot of success with Locklear running the football. They may try a tush push here.
They will. Gustafson, one of the defensive linemen, is the main man behind Locklear, pushing him forward. They're going to pick up a first down easily.
Now, Chucky, we knew that Shea Smith had some packages available for him in short yardage situation.
It's up 1st and 10. Big one to watch for tomorrow night. Jacksonville State at Middle Tennessee. That's on ESPN2, and that is Jacksonville State, who is tied atop Conference USA with Kennesaw State at 3-0. 1st and 10. Locklear, quick drop, pressure coming, doesn't see it, just got it away. Might have saw it out of the peripheral vision late. Marcus Patterson closing in. That's a scary man to have bearing down on you.
No doubt, all 6'3", 260 pounds, the redshirt junior, but that's been the recipe of success for the Owls on defense, is bringing pressure. I have seen situations, Chucky, where defensive coordinators will come up and blitz almost every play. When it's working in this situation, I think they need to keep their foot on the gas for the pressure to rush Locklear. They've had a lot of success so far today with that.
2nd and 10. That snapped a 5-straight completion streak for Locklear, who had a slow start to this game. Nothing there, and he's dragged down in the backfield. He's looking for a flag, but not going to get one.
It makes a ton of sense, Chucky. They brought the pressure again from the linebacker position. They brought both linebackers here in the middle of the formation.
Helmet off to a defensive player.
That means there's no space for Locklear to go with the football. They did it on 1st down and on 2nd down. I would dial it up again here on 3rd down. Put themselves in man coverage on the outsides.
Marcus Patterson was the man who lost his helmet. He's off the field on this play, and they're actually looking at him. Kind of took a shot from his own teammate. 3rd and 10, quick pass is going to be well short of the marker. A gain of about a yard or two to Ashton Emery. Brings up 4th down for a kicking game that has had some issues this year. Both Cragen and Ariola have combined to make 4 for 8 attempts. This is looking like it's going to be a 38-yarder, and it's going to be Tanner Cragen, the redshirt sophomore from Frisco, Texas. 1 for 2 on the year. It was a 38-yarder that he made from the left hash. Good snap, good hold, kick is up, and it is good. Cragen splits the uprights and cuts this to a 4-point game with 3:21 to play in the first half. It's shaping up to be a good one in Conference USA. Kennesaw State can get the football with 3:21 to play in the first half. We've been keeping an eye on Amari Odom, who is available tonight, but he's dealing with injury. Left last week against FIU early after throwing for 205 yards and a passing touchdown and a rushing. He's been so good this year, Darius, and got to keep an eye on what he's doing on the sideline right now.
Yeah, particularly, too, with the quarterback position, because right now Dexter Williams is 5 of 11, only 29 yards. We've seen him miss on 2 different deep throws where he had open wide receivers. So sometimes, Chucky, it's about making that decision and that change before you need to. Be interesting to see if Odom is available and inserted into this game at some point.
Short kick from Cleaver, bounces out of bounds. It'll be great starting field position for Kennesaw State.
And we talked about the running backs here being banged up for the Owls. With Bennett being injured, we saw Belcher go out number 4 as well. So the running back position, in addition to the quarterback
Free kick
position.
out of bounds. Kicking team. Ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Good news for the Owls. Belcher is back in the game, number 4. He's the healthiest of this running back group, so they're excited to have him back into this game.
Dexter Williams is the quarterback on what could be their final offensive drive in this first half, leading by 4 points at home against UTEP. 1st and 10 at the 35. Williams, clean pocket. That is tipped, though, at the last second. Looked like it might have been Cole Gustafson who got his hand on it.
Yeah, used all of that frame at 6'4", 279 pounds, number 99, getting that paw on the football. So UTEP is just dropping defenders into space. They're playing cover 4 right now, trying to keep everything in front of them.
2nd and 10. Williams on the keeper. A block was missed, still ran through a tackler. Solo Barnes on the stop. That was Williams just kind of making something happen after there was a missed block outside.
Holding. Offense, number 6. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Looks like they got Christian Moss there on the hold. Echo Taylor, number 6, the defensive end, was the one who lost containment for UTEP.
Javon Rogers enters the game for Christian Moss on this 2nd and 15. Williams fakes the handoff. Gustafson held up good. Deep ball again. This one into coverage, and it's incomplete. Neil Campbell, the Chicago native, one of their best defenders in coverage.
And Campbell's going to get away with one here. He's going against Javon Rogers. Watch number 4, Chucky. He's grabbing at the end of this. Nice job of picking that up, but in that route, he had his arms on him and was grabbing the jersey some as well. He's nicked and looks like he's dealing with an injury. He got lucky to get away with one there.
He's off the field on 3rd and 15. UTEP trying to get the football back with plenty of time left in the first half to go get another score. Williams has time. Scanning, now throwing over the middle, and what a catch! Lyndon Ravar was draped, but makes the play at midfield.
And that is an incredible catch because Dante Thompson, the Spur, number 12, was right in front of the football.
Handoff to Belcher, who charges ahead to the 46, and maybe the best throw from Williams tonight, too.
And it was a laser, too, but watch Dante Thompson here. He's going to be in front of the wide receiver. I'm not even sure how he saw that to catch it. Incredible job in concentration from Ravar.
2nd and 4, Belcher's the back, he gets it again. Belcher cuts upfield, and he is knocked down at the 36-yard line. Kennesaw State on a drive that looked dead and buried, converts on 3rd and 15. Now Belcher is down again in some pain, holding that left leg.
Officials timeout for an injured offensive player.
We're going to check on him. You hate to see a guy go down after a big run and a big play. This defensive line, Ashton Coker, number 90. This defensive line for UTEP is trying to wash down to the weak side, but they wash themselves out of position. Leaves a big hole for Belcher to be able to get up to the 2nd level. And he grabbed that leg immediately.
You feel for a guy in Chase Belcher who entered the FIU game last week with 57 yards on the season. He goes for 65, his best game of the year. He's got 47 tonight. He's playing a huge role for a team that's playing for big things right now, and now helped off to the injury tent.
He's also a big threat out of the backfield too. We saw him in that Middle Tennessee game where he had that touchdown catch on the wheel route. Number 4 has been productive for the Owls. Unfortunate to see him go down.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
Kennesaw State, what looked like UTEP would have a chance to get the football back, is trying to go down and score late in the first half. It's the 2-minute timeout.
Introducing SportsCenter for you, personalized every single day. Now available on the ESPN app. Powered by your favorites.
Back in Kennesaw, Georgia, 2 minutes to play in the first half. Kennesaw State's first 2 scores, a defensive touchdown on a fumble, scoop and score, a special teams touchdown. UTEP, though, on those last couple drives, starting to show signs of life offensively. So this is a big drive for Kennesaw State to potentially finish this first half with a 2-possession lead. 1st and 10 for Dexter Williams. The back is Diggs. Quick throw out wide is incomplete. Looking for Javon Rogers, the sophomore wide receiver.
I like the call from UTEP here, though, to bring pressure on the outside. They brought Solo Barnes, number 5, the safety, down to the strong side of that formation, trying to rush the throw for Dexter Williams.
2nd and 10, Williams looking downfield, got a man, end zone, just overthrew it. It was Rogers again. They've missed on about 3 deep balls where the receiver has been there.
And this is just unfortunate because it's one-on-one coverage on the outside. So for Dexter Williams, he's anticipating that that's where he's going to go with the football because he's got the pre-snap read with one-on-one coverage there. It's not a surprise that he's throwing that deep ball. He's just missing.
Third and 10. They kept this drive alive on a 3rd and 15 with a 20-yard completion to Lyndon Ravar. 1 to snap the football. Timeout. Play clock was winding down.
Kennesaw State calls their first time out of the half.
Jerry
30
Mack
seconds.
wants to talk it over here. Who are you looking? We haven't seen Benyard much at all. He has just the 1 catch for -1 yard. That's the leading receiver in the conference. Jerry Mack and company playing to become bowl eligible for the first time as an FBS program. This is just year 2. They were 2-10 a season ago. This is a team that kind of broke onto the scene quickly. It's just their 11th year of their program's existence.
And you see the first 6-win season would be since 2021. And he's done just a tremendous job. He has such a command of this team and this offense. He doesn't call plays, but he's instrumental in structuring this offense given his background.
See where they go on 3rd and 10 from the UTEP 35-yard line. Williams in trouble. He just grounds it in the backfield. Diggs was there, the running back. Ashton Coker was right in his face.
There is no foul for intentional grounding. Number 3 of the offense was in the area of the pass.
Trying to get him
down.
A flea flicker of some sort or some kind of shuffle pass or screen there. Nice job by UTEP defensively, that defensive line, not fooled by the action in the backfield. And that becomes the problem for the Owls offensively when they don't have Belcher, and Belcher went out with his injury. We know that Diggs is the wiggle guy, the 3rd down kind of guy, so just inserting him in the game kind of gave themselves up that it might be a pass.
Hewitt lofts this one downfield, lands at about the 2-yard line and fielded at the 1. Job done for Josh Hewitt.
This is just a big-time play on special teams with the kicking game. Steps into the end zone for a moment, jumps back in with those feet. A little collision there, able to secure the football.
Tavion Lawson was the man who downed it. The tip of the ball is touching the goal line almost. The 1:39 to play in this first half. UTEP would need to go the distance of the field. They do have 2 timeouts, but can they get out of their own end zone? Empty backfield to begin this drive.
Now we've seen Locklear handle the football as a runner. Would be surprised if he keeps it on the ground to try to give themselves some space.
Ashton Emery now in the backfield with Locklear, who keeps it himself. Did he get out? Locklear did not. It's a safety. Special teams and defense doing it all tonight for the Owls.
Now what has worked for the Miners offensively is Locklear running the football, but not in moments where he's in an option. They're in the end zone, and he's trying to do a fake. It's the fake action
Rolling on the field
that
is a
slows
safety.
him down. And then it's just an incredible job up front by Donovan Westmoreland, number 14, to make a play on Locklear. But when you're in your end zone and you're backed up, the plays have to be aggressive and straight line. Not sure why they called a fake play or an option. It just took too much time.
16 points, Darius, for Kennesaw State. All defense and special teams.
And lights out on the defense and in the kicking game.
Please set the game clock to 1:33. 1:33 on the game clock, please.
I'll go back to the Owls on offense. If they could just figure out how to get those deep balls, Dexter Williams connect with some accuracy on those deep passes, they would have a massive lead in this football game.
They're going to get a chance here with 2 timeouts and 90 seconds left in the first half to drive down the field again. Donovan Westmoreland, just a redshirt sophomore from Griffin, Georgia. transferred from South Carolina. Didn't have a tackle a week ago, had just one the week before that.
One of the things that Coach Mack told us is that the brightest spot for them defensively is on that defensive line where Westmoreland is. It's been the best for them defensively, and that defensive line is showing up again here tonight.
Scotty Walden was on the field. He's asking a question about something. Botsford is now running out to take this. Scotty Walden is irate on the sideline.
1-2. Maybe they had a call that he liked, but he really wanted to surprise or something.
Good punt from Botsford, carries down to the 23-yard line, fielded by Cody Jones. Up the sideline, he trips on his own man and falls down. Still going to be excellent field position with 1:30 to play. We've seen for Kennesaw State, the calls have been there, Darius. The plays, the big plays, 3 times they've had a receiver basically running down the field for a touchdown. They just haven't been able to hit it yet.
Have not been able to hit that one yet. Not tonight. But otherwise, Dexter Williams has had a really good command of this offense. Now, that last series, we saw UTEP drop into coverage instead of playing man across the field. That will open up some running lanes for the quarterback.
Belcher is back out there as the running back. Williams rolling out, throwing back across his body. It's almost intercepted by Content.
Content has been all over the field today from that corner position. They've blitzed him on the outside, but what a heads-up play for him. He's reading the eyes of the quarterback as Williams is moving. He jumps the route. That's one he's got to come up with, especially in this moment, to help his team, but a good defensive play from Justin Content.
2nd and 10 at the 38-yard line, empty backfield. Williams looking for the quick pass on a slant to his tight end, Gerard Bullock, who is going to come up about a half-yard short of a first down.
Nice job by Bullock of catching that football in traffic. But UTEP has changed up a little bit defensively with what they're doing. They've got Micah Davey, number 48, spying the quarterback now.
Belcher on the give just across midfield, and that sets him up 1st and 10 at the 49, under a minute to play in this first half.
I like the call for UTEP defensively, keeping the linebacker on the quarterback, ensuring that he doesn't run with the football.
1st and 10, play action for Williams. Pressure coming, he gets it out to Belcher, who jumps over one man. He's knocked down hard by Davey. Beyond the 40-yard line, another first down. Pushing and shoving. I think Davey tried to sell it. No flag comes out.
Little soccer sell there. But Davey looks like he's huffing and puffing a little bit on that last play, a little slow to get out into coverage.
Play action, going to take another deep shot. Can they hit one late? It is incomplete. And again, Content in coverage on Lyndon Rivar.
And they're lucky here. Xavier Smith gets lost. Number 2 from the safety position. He's way out of position. He's supposed to be helping Content on that side. He's nowhere in frame. But a nice job by Justin of just being on an island, playing through the football play. If his presence isn't there, Rivar comes down with that football in the end zone. Nice job on the recovery from Justin Content there, but he needs help from his safety.
That was the best deep ball we've seen Williams throw tonight.
Definitely as far as accuracy goes, no doubt.
Diggs is the running back. It's 2nd and 10, 35 seconds left. Still 2 timeouts for the Owls. They get the football to start the second half. Diggs lowers the shoulder, and he gets to the 34-yard line. They'll stop the clock with their 2nd timeout at 29 seconds.
Wow, I mean, the missed opportunities offensively for the Owls.
Kennesaw State calls their 2nd timeout of the half. 30-second timeout. Please set the game clock to 30 seconds. 30 seconds on the game clock, please.
They had 4 deep passes that were there, unable to connect on any of them.
When you Think about Jerry Mack. We've talked to him a couple times this year, had their opener, talked to him again this week. What stands out about what he's done and how he's operated as a head coach?
I would definitely say the culture piece, which is kind of hard to define, but the way I think about culture is culture assimilates through your team, and the way it comes out is how guys participate in special teams. It comes out in how guys finish through the football. We saw that with Content on that play. So when you see guys going a bit extra, a little bit more, to me it signals the culture piece, because the guys are playing for their coach. They're laying out for their coach. They're going all the way. And so that's what I've been impressed with so far today, is just how lights out the team is playing effort-wise in all facets.
Just the second head coach in Kennesaw State program history. Brian Bohannon had a fantastic run here starting this program. 3rd and 5 for Williams. Again, stepping up. The pressure coming. He is hit hard. Neil Campbell came from the backside. Williams didn't see it.
And what a big hit from Campbell. Gerald Bullock, number 17, the backup tight end, just gets worked on the front end. He goes right around him. Campbell goes right around him, almost untouched into the quarterback. And Williams had no chance.
Under review for potential targeting.
Now you look at the collision there from Campbell. It's all about the crown of the helmet and a defenseless player. So for quarterbacks, when they're in the passing position, they are considered defenseless. So that's how the rule reads. He's defenseless in this moment because he's in passing position. Does the crown of the helmet, does he make contact with the head or neck area? His face mask and his helmet was definitely the first thing to hit him. It looks like from the rules that this might be targeting from Campbell, because he kind of launches his body at the quarterback, and his helmet is the first thing that makes contact.
It's that forcible contact to the head or neck area on the defenseless player, which is Williams. This is going to decide the fate of Neil Campbell tonight. This is one of their top tacklers on the team in that secondary transfer from Indiana Wesleyan. This guy's played a lot of college football. This is his 50th career game played.
And it's tough for Campbell too, because you know he's a captain on this defense.
After video review, there is no foul for targeting. 4th down.
Sack stands, no targeting on the play. It's going to bring up 4th.
Please set the game clock to 8 seconds. 0-8 on the game clock, please.
Now that's a judgment call. I don't agree with it as far as the call is concerned, especially as the rule is laid out, because he did launch with his head. But that's one, if you're Jerry Mack and the Owls, that you're going to look at and say, man, we should have had that call, because that could have determined what happened next here to close out the second quarter.
The officials are still having a conversation about something right now. It is 4th down. The offense still on the field. We can get
the
this
previous
cleared
play
up.
that went to review includes a 10-second subtraction from the game clock. Kennesaw State has elected to call a timeout to avoid the 10-second subtraction. 30 seconds.
Jerry Mack wants another play in this first half.
Please reset the game clock to 8 seconds. 0-8 on the game clock, please.
The other part of this, they don't have any timeouts left. They do have 8 seconds. Maybe time to throw one 8 yards down the field and try for a field goal.
Yeah, give themselves a chance, maybe an out route on the outside, or at least the opportunity to take a shot. It's unfortunate because there's been 2 things that have really stalled the Owls on offense. First, it was the injury to Belcher during that last series that slowed things down. And then the hit there where they thought they could have got a targeting call didn't go their way that time. It just has slowed the momentum down offensively late into the second quarter for Kennesaw State.
Britton Williams, the kicker, his season long is just 44 yards. UTEP going to take a timeout. They saw the formation. Now they want to talk things over.
Timeout. UTEP. 30 seconds.
This is an intense final 8 seconds, Darius.
I mean, there's a lot on the line here on both sides. I think it's a smart call by Walden. See the play, regroup, make sure you got the right defensive structure on the field.
It's different for UTEP tonight. There's no conference title on the line. There's no bowl eligibility on the line, but Scotty Walden's trying to build something at UTEP. They had just 3 wins a year ago, but they finished 3-3 over their final 6. He's trying to give life to a program that has been hungry for a winner for a long time. Just 2 winning seasons over the last 19 years. They have not topped the 7-win mark in that time. They've reached 7 twice, but he feels like they've got a gold mine in El Paso. They've dealt with a lot of injuries this year to key players, some that they haven't had for all season.
This would certainly be a signature win for them if they could figure out how to keep this game close.
4th and 11, 8 seconds. Williams, it's going to be the final play of the first half. He's got 4 bodies downfield into the end zone and incomplete. It was batted down in the end zone to finish the first half. Kennesaw State leading at the break 16-10, possibly just a half hour away from bowl eligibility if they can close this out in the second half. There's whistles being sounded. I'm not sure if there was something happening on the field at the end of this.
You see, Coach Walden is walking out looking for answers on something.
There was 1 second on the game clock when the ball was dead. Please set the game clock to 1 second. 1 second on the game clock, please.
That is hard to believe that that play didn't take 8 seconds.
It was thrown way up in the air, too. Maybe we can take another look at this.
You don't think that play took 8 seconds?
It would be a turnover on downs if it did only take 7 seconds.
I mean, he rolled out of the pocket. He threw it 45 yards in the air. That's hard to believe that wasn't an 8-second play.
Let's just take another look at the clock here. So Williams is going to roll to his left and throw this football in the air.
I'm also not sure the clock started exactly on time, but it was closer than I thought it was.
It definitely was close. I understand the argument from Scotty Walden there.
And I think we're going to take a knee after all of this as well. That's what it looks like. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. What?
Well, that's an interesting one for sure.
We've seen some trickery from them tonight.
Commotion just to take the knee.
And we're going to the break.
All right.
Scotty Walden fired up. It was a slow start for his team, but they have responded to a big start on defense and special teams from Kennesaw State and Jerry Mack. 5-2 atop Conference USA and trying to stay there on a Tuesday night in Kennesaw, Georgia. That will take us to halftime. It has been an unusual first half, but we have a ball game. It is weekday Conference USA football. Halftime's next. 16-10, the Owls leading the Miners at halftime of this Conference USA clash. Kennesaw State, the first FBS team to have a defensive special teams and defensive safety in a game since Oklahoma State against Texas Tech back in 2020. They're just the second team in the last 20 seasons to do all three of those before halftime, Darius.
Yeah, Christopher was the one who stripped that football off her, takes it to the end zone on the defense, and then we saw Benyard take this punt return, make a few guys look silly, get into the end zone, and then it was a questionable call on the goal line for UTEP on the other side, trying to run a fake play with some play action motion there. But Westmoreland and Christopher were able to get him down for the sacks, for the safety. That's what gets us 16-10. As we look at the first half stats for both teams.
Yeah, pretty even yardage-wise, time of possession-wise for two teams who do not typically have the football for much. Split very evenly, and third down not been very successful for either team. Really going to be who can get in a rhythm offensively in this second half. We saw a little spark from UTEP on the drives prior to that safety.
I would also add, too, it seems like the rain's starting to come down a little bit, too. See how that impacts the play calling here into the second half and the ball security.
Davis on the return. He spun around and drug backwards as he just crossed the 20-yard line, and we'll see this UTEP offense for the first time. When they were rolling on those couple drives, what did you like from Skylar Locklear?
Well, Locklear was being real decisive in making decisions quickly, allowing himself to run when the opportunity presented itself. And that's what they're going to have to do a lot of, especially if the ball's going to be wet with the rain. If he's got openings when Kennesaw State is dropping in coverage, he's got to take off as a runner.
Started just 2 for 8 before he hit 5 straight in that stretch, and then finished a little slowly. He's got Ashton Emery in the backfield with the rain falling in Kennesaw. 1st and 10, Locklear on the keeper. Kennesaw there, just over the head of the defender. It was a perfect ball down the sideline to Eric Willis. The touch pass from Locklear.
And wow, I thought he had a chance to knock this down, but an incredible job from Locklear of making, again, a quick decision to throw the football down the field.
Toss to
the first down.
Emery trying to get downfield, and he is tackled from behind by Grimes.
It's going to take everybody to win for UTEP offensively. Eric Willis that time, the wide receiver, number 19, did an incredible job of blocking on the edge on the outside to pick up some positive yardage. And I go back to this, Chucky, on second down in this moment and in this area, the whole playbook is open for the Miners.
Emery in motion. They fake the handoff. Locklear on the keeper up the middle, and he is wrapped up from behind. Short of a first down. Taiwan Christopher on the stop. Big reminder, Garland Benyard, one of their top tacklers at the linebacker position, injured last week. He's out for the year, so Taiwan Christopher stepping into a big role as a redshirt freshman.
He has been fantastic here today. UTEP likes to, on these third down situations, bring in an extra offensive lineman in those short yardage plays. They break the huddle with the extra bodies up front.
2 defensive linemen there too, trying to clear the path for Emery's hit, though, at the line of scrimmage by Barron Hobson, and denied a first down.
What a job from the Mike linebacker, Barron Hobson here, 44. He gets inside and meets Emery right in the hole. Doesn't give at all. He made a couple of plays earlier in the game showing you that strength for the 5th-year senior.
They've got a couple defensive linemen in there. We saw the tush push earlier in the game on a situation just like this, and here it comes again with Scott and Gustafson behind him. It looks like they got enough to move the chains.
Chucky, that play is so hard to stop defensively, especially when the center gets a low center of gravity, as Ivan Escobar did.
We saw even more controversy with the tush push this weekend in the Giants-Eagles game. Not so much in this one tonight.
Watch for Kenny Odom here at the bottom of the screen, number 6. He was electric in the first half.
Locklear looking the other direction now, rolling this side. Looking downfield, directing Emery to set up a block for him. Scoots down the sideline and out of bounds on what is looking like a positive first drive to open the second half.
I like what Locklear is doing. He is not hesitating. He's being decisive. Every time with the football in his hands, he will look at one read, one progression, then two progression. If it's not there, he's taken off. I like the adjustment that he's made offensively.
Emery and Odom, the receiver in the backfield. They give it to Emery. Kennesaw State was on it quickly. Hobson again, he's been really active on this drive so far.
Both these linebackers for the Owls, Hobson and Christopher, 46 and 44, have just been outstanding this game, really impacting the game defensively.
UTEP just 1 for 9 on third down, Darius. This is 3rd and 6.
Really big time play. We saw them earlier with the trick play to Kenny Odom, number 6. He'll be at the top of the screen. They usually try to figure out a way to get him the football in critical moments.
That shoots in motion, had the 40-yard touchdown grab earlier in this game. Locklear looking that direction, setting up a tunnel screen to Odom with blockers. Stiff arms one, stays on his feet. Odom's gonna cruise in for a touchdown. And we're tied at 16 thanks to Kenny Odom, their biggest playmaker.
And you have to figure out where number 6 is. They like to feature him when the game is on the line. They've done it multiple times here in the first half and now in the second half, finding number 6. So Baron Hobson, number 44, he's the guy that has a chance to get him down at this moment. He tries to dive and arm tackle, and we just know the strength of Kenny Odom. You can't arm tackle him to get him down. Incredible play call by the Miners, staying creative and featuring the stud in Kenny Odom.
Carlos Arreola on for the extra point in the rain. It is up, it is good, and UTEP leads Kennesaw State on the road.
Well, we knew that Kenny Odom was going to put on a clinic. You put the football in number 6 hands, good things happen. He takes it to the house. The Miners have their first lead of the game, 17-16.
watching ESPN College Football Weekday Conference USA. Kennesaw, Georgia on a chilly Tuesday evening. And the Owls find themselves for the first time trailing UTEP. Kenny Odom with the big 21-yard touchdown. Scotty Walden isn't excited one bit on the sideline after that 8-play, 78-yard touchdown drive. Kennesaw State needs a response on their first offensive drive. Jones on the return, trying to get to the sideline, and he's spun around. There's a late flag that comes in. At the end of that return, he got to the 26-yard line. This is going to be holding and move them back.
Now, Chucky, we talked a little bit about the two different quarterbacks.
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 88, 10-yard penalty, first down.
For Kennesaw State, and it looks like we're going to get Amari Odom. Our first look at number 2, Amari Odom. Dexter Williams leaves the game 8 of 22 for 68 yards. We've talked about how he's missed on the deep throws. I think it makes a ton of sense to go to Odom in this moment to try to create a spark before it's too late. I like the call from Coach Mack.
Williams started the first two. They split time against Merrimack in the win, and then they went to Odom in the next 2 games. But Williams has started here and there. He started against Louisiana Tech and led them to a win. He started again tonight, but now Amari Odom on the first snap, hands off, and slipping in the backfield is Belcher. They're going to lose a couple yards on that first drive. Odom's numbers on the season, almost 1,000 yards through the air. He's responsible for 8 touchdowns, just the 1 interception too. He takes care of the football. Darius, they said he's good in practice. He's a different animal in the game, though. He's a gamer.
Man, it's really a luxury for them to have 2 different options that have played well this season. Now, the tough part for Odom is he's put in a situation, high pressure. They got to come back and try to respond.
Second down, Odom on the move, throwing, and it's dropped in the flats by Belcher. Would have been a really nice pickup on second down, maybe even a first.
Now, you got a new quarterback coming in Amari Odom, so naturally he's going to be trying to figure this out on the fly. But like that ball, when it's just a short pass, you got to take a little bit off of it. And it's one of those situations where when you have rhythm and you've been in the game, you know to take that off. I just think it's hard when you insert a guy, a new quarterback in this moment, to really have that touch, but he's got to take a little bit off for his running back in that situation.
3rd and long. Odom, plenty of time in the pocket, throwing to his tight end Bullock, who is struck down by Jaden Wilson. They're going to be 1.5 yards short of a first down. Kennesaw State bringing out the punt unit, it appears.
And that's something to earmark for later, is that matchup where they can get their tight end on one of these linebackers for the Miners to try to pick up some positive yards in the passing game.
You can see the rain. It's also windy here in Kennesaw. Kind of a swirling wind. They'll be a little bit behind Hewitt. Spiraling kick. This is almost over the head of Willis near the 35-yard line. He's going to get just a few yards on the return to give the Miners decent field position on their second drive of this half. Here's Wednesday's star-studded NBA doubleheader. Jaylen Brown and the Celtics hosting Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs at 7 Eastern. Then we go to Minnesota. Austin Reeves and the Lakers playing the first game of a 2-game road trip against Ant-Man and the T-Wolves. Ernie, Kenny, Charles, and Shaq tip our coverage at 6 Eastern. How about Austin Reeves the other night? 51 against the Kings.
He looked good for sure. Like what Luka's doing over there too. Picking up some points as well. Love that NBA action.
Willis in motion. Locklear and company take over at their own 38-yard line. Ashton Emery is the back. They give it to him, and this is the biggest space Emery's had all game as he crosses midfield. There's a flag, though, back at the 43-yard line. He kind of ran up behind Odom, too, and fell on him.
Holding, offense, number 60, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
We got Joseph Imediato on the hold there. I thought James Williams did an incredible job from his left guard position of blocking and getting upfield. The Miners hurt themselves with the penalty there. boy, do penalties stall drives, even when they start in the beginning. Just kind of takes the life out of the momentum. And we got an interesting formation brewing right now for the Miners.
Shoots in motion out of the 5-stack on the far side of the field, and he's going to set a big block for Locklear, who tries to get outside, crosses the 40, and Locklear, he stepped out a little bit before the end of that, but he is going to have a first down to the 49-yard line.
There were so many guys to the top of this formation. Antonio Stevens, number 3, is the safety on the weak side. He's the one who loses containment on that side, but it's hard not to because it was such a weird formation that the Miners were in.
Locklear goes away from the initial action, and he's drugged backwards and thrown to the ground by Antonio Stevens, the grad student from Nashville, Tennessee. Flag on the play.
And I think Stevens had some frustration there from that last play with being out of position. Takes it out on the quarterback. Costly error for the Owls after making a play.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 3. 15-yard penalty, an automatic first down.
And the truth is, Chucky, in those moments, you already got the guy down. You can't do anything but hurt yourself by trying to make a statement on a hit on a quarterback. We see it time in and time in where defenders are so caught up in the fact that they get a chance to actually hit the quarterback, where you really just want to get him down and make a play. It's not about the after effects. And sometimes the after effects just get so consuming that you make a play. Big mistake for the Owls defensively.
Can Jerry Mack calm this team down? Down a point at home, trying to make program history and become bowl eligible as Emory slips in the backfield and falls down.
One of the things we haven't touched on, Chucky, is the cast for Emory. He's got that cast on his left arm. Sometimes that can create problems with being able to hold the football. So something to track as it continues to get wet, and they continue to hand Ashton Emory the football with ball security.
Kenny Odom in the backfield this time. They will give it to Odom going left side, looking for another big play. He is wrapped up and picked up by Hobson. He is about a yard shy of a first down. For UTEP, we talked about some of the injuries. One of those guys, Cam Thomas, who played in the opener this year, but he's out for the year now with injury. He was their number 2 receiver a year ago, but they were going to hand him the football a lot this season as well.
And that's the tough part about getting midway through the season. Sometimes you just lose guys, and everyone's playing with an injury of some sort. Now, the last third down was the touchdown that we saw to Odom. They threw the tunnel screen. He's number 6. He'll be at the top of the screen in the slot position. Another third down situation. If I'm the Owls, I'm trying to figure out how to get 2 bodies on number 6.
We've got an extra O-lineman on the field on this 3rd and 1 play. Odom coming right side, getting strung out wide. He's knocked backwards, and he's going to be short. Maybe got back to the original line of scrimmage.
Excellent job from Jericho Washington Jr., number 1, the corner on the weak side. Not fooled by the action, understanding the situation and knowing what's going to happen, just keeps it contained inside. Excellent team defense there from the Owls to force a 4th down. Now, we've seen the tush push a couple of times in those short yardage situations with Locklear. They do like what he gives them as a runner. So I would not be surprised if you're the Owls that number 9 keeps the football in this 4th down situation.
No Odom on the field for this play. UTEP 3 for 3 on 4th down. And we're gonna take a second.
UTEP calls their first time out of the half. 30 seconds.
Scotty Walden knows how big this part of the game is right here. Already down to just 6 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Kennesaw State's only touched the football 1 time in the 2nd half. UTEP opened the half with a big touchdown drive to take their first lead of the game.
They really are in a commanding position. Now, Locklear, 10 of 17, 152 yards in the air with a couple of touchdowns. He's been really good here in the 2nd half with his command of this offense. And most of the time, Chucky, when you get to 4th down for offenses, they try to keep it simple. They want to lean on the guy who's been hot for them. I think that's why they called the timeout, because Odom wasn't on the field.
He's staying on the sideline. He kind of went out toward the huddle for a second, but Odom stays on the sideline for this crucial 4th and 2.
Well, again, we've seen Locklear run the football from his quarterback position.
A lot of movement here. Willis flipping it. They're going the wrong direction. It's a pass, though, and it is incomplete. Almost an interception. There's a late flag on the field back where that ball was thrown by Wandemi Davis.
It's Cody Jones, the nickel for the Owls. I'm not sure if it was something towards the end of the play.
Incomplete pass, personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 12. Half the distance to the goal line includes an automatic first down.
Wow. An unfortunate event for the Owls. Let's take a look at this for Cody Jones. After the ball is pitched and thrown, he does lead off and take a shot on Davis Jr. after the throw. Watch him throw the football and just get laid out at the end of that play. Again, just unnecessary because the play was already called well defensively and they had stopped them. It's just the extra oomph for a statement that's just unnecessary, but the defense can't help themselves right now.
So late, 5:54 now to play in the 3rd quarter. Late on the Jones hit, I should say. This first down run doesn't go anywhere. Twice now Kennesaw State hurting themselves.
And it's uncharacteristic for a team that has just played so well and so spirited here today in the first half, in the multiple different facets with special teams and defense. Just digging themselves into a further hole here in the 3rd quarter.
Handoff up the middle to Emery. He's ping-ponged around and fighting for extra yards. How about Emery down to the 8-yard line? It's a physical run from a redshirt freshman.
Yeah, this is just all effort from Ashton Emery here. When he gets this football in the middle of this offensive line, he gets hit right at the line of scrimmage. He spins off one guy, keeps those legs churning to pick up positive yards. Now we have yet to see Kenny Odom come back into the game. I'm not sure if there's an injury or something happening with him. But note that number 6 is not in the football game right now for the Miners.
Instead, it's Torrent Goins. Locklear on the keeper, going up the middle, bottled up and driven backwards, well short of a first down. Nowhere to go on that play. Marcus Patterson and friends.
And that's the tough part for the Miners, because when you don't have Odom, you don't have a decoy, you don't have someone who can spread the field and spread this defense out. So it's forcing them into situations where they got to keep the football on the ground. I think this is a smart move to try for the field goal here to extend the lead a bit.
Tanner Cragen is on to take this chip shot field goal. It is from the far right hash. It'll be a 26-yarder. Hit a 38-yard field goal earlier. This one is up and good to extend the lead to 4 on the 10th play of that drive. Back-to-back scoring drives for UTEP to begin the second half. About the turnaround from UTEP in this game. Slow start, Darius. You were wondering where's the energy coming out of the bye week. But they have been rolling.
Really been the tale of two halves for the Miners for sure. But we saw some uncharacteristic errors here in this third quarter. Mental issues for the Owls. Rightfully so. Coach Mack has been livid about what has unfolded here in this third quarter as they find themselves in a hole.
Jackson Cleaver sends it deep. Kennesaw State needs a spark. This is Wallace to return this one, trying to get to the near side of the field, breaks one and charges ahead to the 27-yard line. That's where the Owls will take over. We'll see Amari Odom for the second time. But first, we step away.
Timeout.
4-point game in Kennesaw, Georgia.
Three minutes and 40 seconds left in the third quarter. The Miners have taken the lead here in the third quarter. They're up 20-16. But we've been looking for Gabe Binyard and wondering where he is in terms of this game. Now, this was a punt return early in the first half that he took all the way to the house. We have talked about how dynamic he is as an athlete, but so far here today, outside of the punt return, he has a catch.
Catch for -1 yard on the offensive side of the ball for Binyard. He is in the slot to the right of Amari Odom, who comes out for his second offensive drive. Odom with time, gonna air this one out. Can they finally connect? They can! Caught inside the 10-yard line, Javon Rogers with the big play.
What a pass from Amari Odom. Again, this guy has been on the sideline all game into halftime, gets inserted into the football game with 3 minutes left here. Throws a monster laser all the way down the field into the breadbasket.
First and goal at the 7-yard line. Chase Belcher in the backfield with Odom. Handoff, Belcher to the 5-yard line, tackled from behind by Davey.
That's one way to bring some life, and that is the point that for the Owls, that deep ball has been there multiple times here today. Dexter Williams was unable to find the accuracy there. And Amari Odom finds it on his first deep try to put them in the goal line.
Man in motion, Odom keeps it rolling out into the flats. He is hit, it is incomplete. They were looking for Benyard, but it's gonna be 3rd and goal. And they find a way into the end zone after that big throw of 66 yards from Amari Odom to Javon Rogers.
Now Odom also has some elusiveness as a runner as well. He's 6'4", he's got a big frame. He can keep it himself.
Right on cue, Odom into the end zone, touchdown! Amari Odom heard you and delivered.
Chucky, I can't tell you how impressive it is and how difficult it is to be on the sidelines in the first quarter, in the second quarter, at halftime, and then come in midway through the 3rd quarter and get asked to throw a deep ball. But watch this play. This was the big play that set them up to get into the red zone. Amari Odom does an incredible job, but you see Lance Russell, the free safety, number 22, he was flat foot at the point of attack. Allowed Rogers to get behind him. After he got behind him, it set them up. Amari Odom took matters into his own hands. They called his own number, easy. Run around the outside to recapture the lead for Kennesaw State.
Mitch Militello, their offensive coordinator, said you got to be able to do it when the band's playing and when the lights are on. And Amari Odom is that guy.
And it feels so kind of storybookish, Chucky, because like the rain's coming down, it's cold, they were down. Big time play. And they told us he is a gamer. When the lights come on, that's when he's at his best. He has provided the spark here that this offense has desperately needed really all game.
.224 to play in the 3rd quarter. Britton Williams to send this kick deep. Willis and Davis are deep to return. Davis fields it on the run, but slowed up near the 25-yard line and tackled there to set up 1st and 10 for UTEP. The next UFC Fight Night is Saturday, exclusively on ESPN+. Prelims begin at 4 Eastern from the Apex in Las Vegas, followed by the main card at 7 Eastern, highlighted by the featherweight main event. Watch on the all-new ESPN app.
Well, we've got a little bit of a fight on our hands here tonight in this football game.
Skylar Locklear, 10 for 17, $152 and 2 touchdowns for UTEP. This offense has been starting to go a little bit. They have it 1st and 10 at their own 26. Locklear under pressure, dragged down in the backfield.
What an incredible job on the inside. James Williams, the one who gets beat here. He just gets bull rushed all the way into the backfield. Able to get the quarterback down. Nice job by the big fella, making a play when they need it most. Now, luckily for the Miners, Kenny Odom's back in the football game, number 6. He'll be at the bottom of the screen here. We missed him last series.
Locklear, the play action was blown up, and he's dragged down in the backfield. Again, it's Elijah Hill, the true freshman.
Elijah Hill just on fire here on this series. Now watch Barron Hobson here too, the Mike backer number 44. He also gets home too. He's the first guy to blow this play up, which pushes Locklear outside, and Hill is able to clean it up, setting up a 3rd down and forever. I have to go back to that last series for the Owls though. The spark that Amari Odom brought in at the quarterback position has now moved itself onto this defense. They're playing spirited, lights out like they did in the first quarter.
Elijah Hill stepping up there without their top pass rusher tonight. Again, the pressure comes. That time it was Marcus Patterson. This D-line ramping it up against Skylar Locklear to force a punt.
And it's really the first time that the offensive line for UTEP has just gotten beat up over multiple plays. Mark Robinson that time, number 66, he's the left tackle, but watch Marcus Patterson just beat him around the edge to get to the quarterback. He almost was untouched to get back there to Locklear. These Owls are hyped up and excited. Trying to close one out.
This was not a great punt, kind of shanked off the side of Botsford's foot. They are going to mark this, still coming back, and they are going to mark this at the 45-yard line of UTEP's for excellent starting field position for Kennesaw State. How about the ebbs and flows of the momentum in this game?
Yeah, it's been quite the roller coaster for sure. And now for the Miners here defensively, I understand that the momentum right now is with Amari Odom and the Owls, but I think defensively, again, this guy just got inserted into the game. They had a big play. He made a big play. I would try to put some pressure on him, try to force some throws to see if he's really in rhythm. He just hasn't played a whole lot of football today. It's a cold, rainy day. I'd go after the quarterback if I'm the Miners versus sitting in coverage.
1st and 10. Odom gives it up the middle to Belcher. He's going to get about 3 yards on 1st down. Davey makes another tackle.
And that's the guy for them defensively for the Miners, Micah Davey, number 48. I would give him some opportunities to blitz this quarterback to see if he can make an impact and rush the throw for Amari Odom.
Chase Belcher, we've seen him exit this game twice, a little hobbled. He's come back in both times. They are dealing with some injuries in that running back room as Odom is going to let this clock tick down to the 4th quarter. Amari Odom trying to play the hero in Kennesaw, Georgia, and make history for a program that is just in year 2 at the FBS level. Back and forth we've gone. UTEP trying to upset Kennesaw State. Conference USA weekday action. 23-20, Kennesaw State leading UTEP. Start of the fourth quarter in Kennesaw, Georgia. Big implications at the top of Conference USA. Kennesaw State trying to stay unbeaten. Jacksonville State, the other unbeaten in the league. Western Kentucky with just one loss. Dexter Williams started this game tonight for Kennesaw State, but Amari Odom came in relief in the third quarter, led them to a touchdown on the last drive. There's a little bit of miscommunication here, but it works out. Belcher said, no, give me that thing. I'm going to take it for a first down.
The second effort of Belcher here to not give up on the football play. And Odom held on to this football really long at the mesh point. He was going to try to pull it.
He does keep this one, throwing outside. It's dropped, and again, the rain started pouring in this second half. Dropped by Javon Rogers, who he hit on the big play earlier.
Looks like we got a penalty here, but this was the big play from Belcher beforehand. Just keeping up with the play, not giving up on it to get up the field to pick up positive yardage. Looked like, I'm not sure exactly what the flag is for. There was a little bit of tussling at the end of that play on the outside.
You ever tear it out of a quarterback's hands? Take it away. Give me that thing.
I will take that, sir. Thank you very much.
Probably weren't running a lot of QB option with Brady Quinn at Notre Dame, I'm guessing.
Maybe that wasn't his bag per se. He can move, though.
There is no foul in the play. Second down.
The Owls are upset about that one. Seemed like they might have wanted a late hit of some sort out in the exterior.
2nd and 10 at the UTEP 32-yard line. It's one of the best defenses in Conference USA when it comes to yards per game. Fakes the handoff, Odom rolling. Looking downfield, in trouble, throwing short. They're just going to get about a yard. Clayton Kopic on the catch.
And the other interesting thing here for the Owls, Chucky, is no Gabe Binyard in the game. He hasn't been in on this series. We talked about him with the punt return touchdown and the one other catch. He's the guy they usually feature. It's surprising that he's not in the game. I have to assume that it's could be something injury-wise or what. He's usually in these moments.
Odom under pressure, rolling out, trying to direct traffic, looking back across his body, picked off! Xavier Smith jumped it across the 30, and he's tackled, and it is a rare, risky throw. There is a flag on the field. All eyes on our referee tonight, Doug Mercer.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 0. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Wow.
Doka Izani, and they give one back.
Izani on this play. Odom throws the football there. Ooh. Oh my gosh. That is just one. Oh, that one kind of hurts my heart a little bit there. Because just a guy trying to play through the whistle. He even pulled up off the sideline there. And I know you're trying to protect the quarterback. You want to make sure. I do not like that one. I personally don't like that one.
I think
rough break for the Miners.
Yeah, I think when Scotty Walden sees that one, it's going to be even tougher than it is right now. Here is Benyard back in the game, tripped up in the backfield. Guess who? Micah Davey again.
Micah Davey has the awareness and the heads up to know that Gabe Benyard has come back into the game. Not going to allow him to make the play. That's what the Miners are going to have to do in this situation, is force someone else to make the play. It can't be number 1. We need to make sure that number 1 for the Owls does not make this play. Someone else is going to have to step up to get them further down the field.
2nd and 12. Odom hands off up the middle, and nowhere to go for Belcher. It's going to be a 3rd and long situation.
I like this wrinkle defensively for the Miners. One of the things they've changed is when Gabe Benyard comes in motion, they will blitz the corner from that side. So that time, Solo Barnes, number 5, came from his safety position. He was on the opposite side of Binyard originally. He blitzed when he was coming in motion. They're trying to stop the jet sweep and ensure that they have an extra body on that side. Excellent defensive change by Bobby Daly.
3rd and 13. Odom looking across the middle. It is caught by Bullock. Fighting for extra yards down to the 12-yard line. KD Johnson on the stop. It'll be 4th down.
Another great call from Bobby Daly, the defensive coordinator for the Miners. Solo Barnes again blitzed from his safety position in the middle of the field to force that throw by Odom. That's the best you can ask for after that call, after that questionable call. This is the best you could ask for if you're the Miners.
Big kick here from Britton Williams. 30-yarder right in the middle of the field. And that is right down the middle for Williams. 26-20. Owls and Miners in an absolute fight here in Kennesaw with 11:32 to play in the game. Rainy, cold night in Kennesaw, Georgia. Kennesaw State leads UTEP 26-20 with 11:32 to play in the 4th quarter. Biggest surprise tonight for you? Biggest standout for you in this game?
I mean, this has been a fun one. I would say a lot. I think the defense for UTEP has definitely been a pleasant surprise today and a big surprise in terms of how they've played late into the stretch. And then Amari Odom. I can't tell you enough how hard it is to come off of the bench, not let alone late into the game, and to have some productivity. That's impressive.
Fair caught on this kickoff. UTEP gets the football. Skylar Locklear and company certainly will be looking for Kenny Odom on this drive.
They're going to need him to continue to compete and ball out. This was the pitch early into that first quarter, showing you that he can have an impact there. They pitch it to him again. He gets up the field, more positive yards. And then they can also throw it to him on the tunnel screen. He'll take that up the field all the way to the house. He's got 3 catches for 43 yards and 4 carries for 22 yards and the touchdown.
Had a season-high 13 touches in their win over Sam Houston a couple weeks ago. Trying to keep him heavily involved. Locklear going to take off and run for the 21st time in this game. Rest of the teams only ran it 19 times. There is a flag, though, behind where he was tackled, and he's a little shaken up.
I mean, he's really fighting for his life out there, too. Play in and play out.
Holding. Offense, number 79. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Jake Utley there, they call him Big Country. Him from his right tackle position. It's certainly not something you want if you're Scott Walden and company for this offense trying to drive down the field. Put yourself in position to tie this game up with a touchdown.
They've been playing behind the sticks these last couple drives, whether it be penalty or defensive linemen like Elijah Hill getting in the backfield.
And the guy who needs to really win for them is Davis Jr., number 23. He'll be in that bunch formation towards the top.
That's Odom. Quick throw to Odom. Has a little space out there trying to get to the sideline, but he's drugged down. A step shy of the 20-yard line. Jericho Washington, the Atlanta native, making the stop.
And one of the things that really worked early in the third quarter, Chucky, was the creativity, like moving guys around in the formation. One of the things I think that the Miners can do offensively is start to use number 6, Kenny Odom, as a decoy. Move him in situations across the formation and feature someone else.
Something about these two teams matching up. UTEP won a double overtime thriller a season ago. Locklear down toward Davis, and he overthrows it, incomplete. He was looking for his big play target, Wandemi Davis.
And I like the call. It's just poor execution from Skylar Locklear with setting his feet to make sure he can make that throw. He came up a little slow after that one play that he ran for. I wonder if that impacted him a little bit health-wise. May not be himself, but he did not get it into that throw because it was open.
3rd and 15. Three-man rush. Locklear is going to roll out, and now the pressure comes. Incomplete pass. The Kennesaw State defense does their job.
And that's really unfortunate for Scotty Walden and this team offensively, because they had a chance, but it was the penalty that hurt them to stall that drive, and then the missed throw from Skylar Locklear. And a lot of times, Chucky, in these close games, it comes down to 1 or 2 plays when you look back and watch the film. That missed throw and that holding call are going to be 2 that the Miners are going to want to have back.
Botsford gets this away toward Benyard, takes a big hop to Gabe Benyard, looking for another one, but tackled. He might have even lost a yard on that return. A nice play defensively.
Timeout.
Josh Hancock, the long snapper. 1st and 10, Kennesaw State on the other side. These guys are just having quite the time in Kennesaw, Georgia, rooting on the Owls. Late night Conference USA football. Saturday, SEC on ABC, college football triple header, Arch Manning and concussion protocol. So up in the air for that matchup with Diego Pavia and number 9 Vanderbilt at noon Eastern. Then it's Florida, Georgia. That's a rivalry that goes back over 110 years, and we'll cap the day with number 14 Tennessee hosting number 18 Oklahoma in Knoxville. Each game also available on the all-new ESPN app.
Chuck, I have to think, and those are some good games, Clark Lee at Vanderbilt's got to be the front runner for Coach of the Year. I mean, what he's done with that program has just been tremendous with that big win last week as well. Thoroughly impressed with what they're doing out in Tennessee.
They're right there in the hunt for the college football playoff. Kennesaw State has scored on back-to-back offensive drives. Their first 2 offensive scores tonight. Odom going to hand this off to Belcher, who's wrapped up from behind by Elijah Baldwin, the San Antonio native.
Yeah, it's a nice job by Baldwin, but the change defensively has happened for the Miners. They brought Xavier Smith and Solo Barnes. Both safeties are coming down into the box now. They are forcing Amari Odom to have to throw the football deep to make a play.
He's got Ben Yard in the slot at the top of the screen. 2nd and 9. Quick throw near side to Christian Moss. One of the first times we've said his name tonight. And he is wrapped up and brought down. Nowhere to go for Moss. Wrestled to the ground by Solo Barnes and Neil Campbell.
Yeah, this secondary for the Miners has just been outstanding. Neil Campbell's been playing well. Blocker on the other side. And then these safeties, especially in this 4th quarter, they have been critical with applying pressure to Amari Odom.
Kennesaw State, of course, okay with taking their time, something a little bit maybe out of their comfort zone for an offense that loves to go tempo.
No doubt.
3rd and 10, under 9 to play in the 4th quarter. UTEP showing pressure. Barnes sneaking up. Here comes Barnes, picked up late. It is caught out wide, but it is going to go nowhere. Jaden Wilson closes on Gerard Bullock to set up a 4th down.
The Miners have really figured this out on defense, that blitzing the safety is the difference with Amari Odom. They're forcing him to make his first read and to deliver the ball to his first read by applying pressure. It was a nice pickup from Chase Belchler there to pick up Solo Barnes from the safety position, but that action, that pressure, Amari Odom feels it at the quarterback position and wants to get rid of it quickly. It's another nice job by the Miners of getting off the field on defense.
What a job Bobby Daly, that defensive coordinator in his first year at UTEP, has done for a unit that we mentioned. They're just on the field all the time as Willis Fair catches this back inside the 25-yard line with 7:59 to play in the 4th quarter. He came over in February. It was a late time to join and talked about the verbiage with the team, tried to kind of adapt to them a little bit. If they didn't have it, he would add in his own stuff. Talk about a unit that has by far been the strength of this team.
And that's the interesting thing for him. You know, it's been 9 months. He's the one who had to go back to school and learn so that he could learn the terminology here. Not to mention having to figure out the comms for the first time, because they don't have that at the FCS level. So his first time using comms as a defensive coordinator too. He's been outstanding.
Didn't have that last year. Hobson meets Emory in the hole after a gain of 2 on 1st down.
Now, we talked about UTEP in their bye week, because it looks like someone's down for the Owls here. We can't check on one of the big fellas up front.
Officials timeout. Injury to a defensive player.
So if we can't get a sense for who that might be.
It's big number 97, Adam Watkins, who is playing in his 42nd career game at Kennesaw State. And this is a guy who could go from FCS to FBS to maybe a first bowl game with Kennesaw State.
Yeah, he's one of the few returning starters that they have on this defensive line. You mentioned that Tyler Dunlap, one of their leaders on the defensive line, is out for the season today. This would be 2 critical pieces in this interior defensive line. It's good to see Watkins come off on his own strength. Back to the sideline.
Jackson Cooper, a freshman, is going to be out there for Watkins on this play.
Yeah, true freshman out of IMG Academy. Number 92. We're going to need him on this interior and this defensive line. Now, we talked a little bit about the bye week for UTEP and the play calling, how they added some wrinkles with some creative plays. They've kind of gotten away from that with moving guys around and trying to create some space. Hopefully they can get back to that because it was working really well in that third quarter.
Kenny Odom is in the backfield. They're going to send him out to the left side and throw it that way. Offord closing down, and from behind, Offord gets him by the shoelaces.
Incredible individual effort by Offord there, fighting off a guy and trying to get to one of the best players on the field to get him down. He has made some big plays this season. One of those experienced transfers that the Owls have had on defense.
Averages over a pass breakup and a half per game. That's one of the best marks in the FBS. Ranked second, has 10 on the season. They're not going to test Caleb Offord a lot. Locklear play action, rolling the other way, overthrowing Willis, who was tightly covered by Jones and Washington anyway. And it's fourth down.
It seems like Locklear has just kind of gotten out of rhythm on offense. He didn't necessarily need to rush that throw. Willis was not open on the play. Could have taken a little bit more time to go through his progressions or tried to pick it up himself as a runner, which we saw him do a lot of in the first half. They just have gotten away from it in the second half.
These two teams have combined 5 of 28 on third down. Situational football being won by the defenses. Botsford on to send this away to Gabe Benyard. Spiraling kick toward the sideline. Benyard fields at the 30 and nowhere to go as he's pushed out. 6:32 to play. Kennesaw State trying to put this away for their first ever shot at bowl eligibility. Kennesaw State up 6 on UTEP late in the fourth quarter, looking to become bowl eligible for the first time as an FBS program. This is a program that played their first game ever in 2015. They started last year 0-6, got a shocking win over Liberty here in this stadium for their first ever FBS win. They bring in Jerry Mack. He said, I want Kennesaw State to become a destination in the Southeast. He talked about the high school talent around this area. They brought back just 43 returners. That was 5th fewest in the FBS. They've got the football and a chance to put this game away. The handoff to Belcher, jumps over one man. Belcher dragging another for a first down.
And this is one of the first times we've seen Micah Davey take a poor angle from his backer position. Watch 48. He's going to get caught up inside instead of trying to go outside to pick up Belcher. Excellent run from Belcher, who he's battled injury tonight and on and off of the field. That might be the biggest play of the night for him.
Back-to-back weeks of a season high in rushing yards for Chase Belcher, stepping up for the banged-up Coleman Bennett and Alexander Diggs. He has 18 carries, 86 yards on the day, 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line. Handoff up the middle, lowers his head, and he's going to get about a yard.
This offensive line for the Owls competing tonight without JT Pennington. We saw him leave early in the game at right guard. Cameron Williams, number 64, has come in and done a terrific job at that right guard position to put them in position to close this football game out.
2nd and 9, Odom hands off again to Belcher, makes one miss. Scoots ahead to the 46-yard line.
Love what this O-line is doing. You see Williams there. They bring Brandon Best around from his guard position to make that block on Micah Davey. Give Belcher a little bit more space to make it a 3rd down and manageable.
3rd and about 4 yards. They're going to bring Alexander Diggs into the game for this 3rd down.
And Chucky, Christian Moss is at the bottom of the screen. He's got one-on-one coverage out there with Neil Campbell.
Odom on the keeper, in trouble, and he's thrown backwards. Cole Gustafson got his hands on him. Now there's a lot of talking, 2 flags coming out.
And we saw this happen to the Owls earlier, the extra statement when the play is over.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 99. 15-yard penalty includes an automatic first down.
It's unnecessary because Gustafson walks over him after the play. Incredible job by getting to the backfield, getting the quarterback down is all fine, but watch this walk when it's over and the push down. It just makes no sense in this moment when you're trying to get your team back into this football game. The Miners still had a chance and still have a chance in this game if they don't hurt themselves. I just don't understand the statement points at the end of plays after you've made a play.
Locklear looking on, hoping for an opportunity to maybe go down and win this football game. But now 1st and 10 at the UTEP 41-yard line. Chase Belcher back in the backfield with Odom. Under 4 minutes to play. Benyard in motion, handoff Belcher, bounces it outside, trying to stay in bounds. He is pulled out by Micah Davey.
Nice job by Elijah Baldwin there, coming in from his linebacker position, number 32. To push that football inside to Micah Davey. And some of these penalties, and that penalty in particular for the Miners, is just, it's hard to understand it. Because to me, usually when you want to make a statement is after you've made a good play, and you make that play, that's the statement. It's like a running back scoring a touchdown and slapping the defender after it's over. It just makes no sense.
So you never did that?
I'm not perfect, but you know.
Odom on the keeper. And he falls down inside the 35-yard line. That'll set up 3rd and 3.
We talked about Belcher and how well he's been doing as a runner. Watch him as a blocker here to lead up for Odom. Kick out block on the outside there on Dante Thompson. Well, you have to give Belcher a lot of credit for just hanging in there today with the injuries, being gassed and exhausted. Terrific night for the senior.
This is winding down toward the 2-minute timeout. Kennesaw State taking their time. 5 on the play clock, 3rd and 3. Big play, Odom, pressure coming, throwing, it is incomplete. Xavier Smith with the hit on Lyndon Ravar.
And that's really a nice job from Marcel Blocker there to grab Gabe Binyard on this play, because that's where Odom wanted to go with the football. Binyard put a double move on the outside, but Marcel Blocker grabbed him. They did not get called for the penalty. It was a smart play by the safety, which helps force this 4th down.
Offense stays on the field. 2:24 to play in the 4th quarter. Amari Odom has had some big moments in this game. None bigger than this one here. Ravar in motion. Odom rolling. Pressure coming. Odom throwing. And contact flag is out. It's going to be pass interference on Dante Thompson. Binyard the target.
Oh. It was tough to see from here if he got enough. I understand why Walden is heated on this play.
Pass interference, defense, number 5. 15-yard penalty, includes an automatic 1st down.
Because Thompson did a smart move at the end of this of putting his hands in the air. The question is, does he get there super early? It's just, oh, it's painful for it to go that way. I understand the call. It's just painful because he's trying to make a play. In the end, got there a step too early, but I do understand why Walden is livid about that call.
A personal foul to keep the drive alive, and now pass interference. That was 4th down. Nowhere to go for Diggs on the run. Without a timeout, this will tick down to the 2-minute timeout. UTEP only has 2 timeouts remaining. And it is the 2-minute timeout.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
Here at Fifth Third Stadium. Jerry Mack and Kennesaw State 2 minutes away from their 6th win of the season. football. It's Trey McBride and the Cardinals squaring off with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and the Cowboys. 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the all-new ESPN app with Peyton and Eli on ESPN2. Coverage kicks off with NFL Live at 3 Eastern from AT&T Stadium. Then Scott Van Pelt and the Monday Night Countdown crew at 6 Eastern. It is 2nd and 9 for Kennesaw State. Coming out of the 2-minute timeout. This crowd has stuck it out through the rain, trying to see program history. Odom takes the snap, hands off to Belcher up the middle, big run! Belcher down to the 5-yard line to set up 1st and goal. Over 100 yards on the night, a season high for Chase Belcher.
I think we know who the player of the game is here for the Owls. What an individual effort there from Chase Belcher.
UTEP not taking a timeout here.
Looks like they might be just trying to let them get it into the end zone. I'm not really sure. You know what? Right before that 2-minute timeout, wasn't sure why they didn't call one with 7 seconds left, knowing they also had that 2-minute timeout as well. They've kind of lost the rest of the game here.
Might not be a reason to score, although Belcher's going to do it. Will he? They're going to mark it just short. And now Scotty Walden is about 15 yards on the field trying to get a timeout.
Let's see if he gets into the end
UTEP
zone
calls
here.
their second timeout of the half. 30 seconds. Please set the game clock to 1 minute and 14 seconds. 1:14 on the game clock, please.
It looks like a touchdown from this view. And the replay there, because his knees actually didn't hit the ground before that elbow hits the ground. It's close, but you can see how that could go either way. But it's a little strange with UTEP and when they decided to use their timeouts as well.
Well, now Kennesaw State, they can take 2 knees and this is over.
This game is over. A little bit of mismanagement there. Because if you go back to the 2-minute timeout, there was still 2 minutes and 7 seconds left. UTEP had the opportunity to call 2 timeouts there, at least one before that 2-minute timeout. So the 2-minute would add as an extra timeout there. They just mismanaged the timeouts here towards the end. Really, after a knee or two, this game is over.
Unless our math is wrong, I thought you could take a knee twice here with just 1 UTEP timeout and end this football game. I mean, obviously going up 2 scores with 60 seconds left is a tall mountain to climb, but no reason to take a chance. Odom in the shotgun, Belcher to his left. The give to Belcher, running laterally, and he's going to score. And UTEP seemed too interested in stopping him to at least extend this game, but it's a 12-point lead for Kennesaw State.
What a performance. Trace Belcher, what an incredible job he has done tonight. 24 carries, 113 yards, and that touchdown to seal the deal for the Owls. Well, you mentioned this earlier, Chuck. I think it bodes well mentioning again. It's tough to fight an owl at night. It just is. It's just in the rain, too. Tough sledding. And Belcher, he has battled through injuries all game today, able to fight off 2 defenders and walk into the end zone. And he gives you a little shimmy dance when it's over. He's had a terrific day. And he really got thrown into the action here because Coleman Bennett, who's been the starter most of the season, he's hampered by injuries. So is Alexander Diggs, the second guy. So Chase had to step up today in a really big way, and he's proven that he's another productive product in the running back room for the Owls.
I went back today. There's a couple outlets that rank all 136 FBS programs preseason. Kennesaw State in one of those was ranked 135th. In the other, they were ranked 133rd.
Now, the truth is I understand the ranking in the beginning because optically, you look at the 2 wins last year, you look at an overhaul of the roster, you look at a new staff coming in. So this has got to be the biggest surprise in Conference USA is just how fast Mack and his staff have turned this program into a contender virtually overnight.
Davis Fair catches it. The minute 10 seconds left in the fourth quarter, down 2 scores. Kennesaw State, barring a miracle in the final 70 seconds, will move to 4-0. They have a date with Jacksonville State coming up in just 2 weeks on the road. They do finish 3 of their last 4, Darius, on the road. They're going to be tested over the next month.
Yeah, that game on November 15th against Jacksonville State is going to be circled there for sure. That's going to be a big one for them. These are the top teams here in Conference USA. The rest of their schedules as well. We saw Western Kentucky a week ago. Their program rolling as well.
Jack State going to go on the road a few times down the stretch too. So these top teams all going to get tested as that is dropped by Kenny Odom, trying to get him the ball quickly on first down.
I can't understate just how impressive, not only of a game tonight, but just how well Coach Mack and his staff have really done, like the job they've done here. It kind of feels to me, Chucky, a little bit like what Kirk Cignetti did at Indiana, where he turned the program around in the first year that he was there. This feels similar with what Mack has done so far midway through the season.
Locklear takes off. A lot of space to run for him across the 40-yard line, and he is going to be tackled inbounds. Well, on that note, they were a missed extra point and a missed short field goal away from beating Wake Forest in the opener on the road. So their only loss could have been to Kirk Cignetti in Indiana, who are unbeaten right now.
Yeah. You can look at both those losses, and with how Wake Forest has performed since that game as well, he's got a good football team too.
Locklear with time finds Schutz. The long touchdown earlier. Short gain on first down as the clock ticks down. Their final timeout is going to be
UTEP calls
used.
their third and final timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
Well, this has certainly been a tough start to year 2 for Coach Walden and his staff at UTEP. I was impressed when we spent some time with them before this game, just with the goals, the structure, how they're trying to build things for the Miners. As you look at their remaining schedule, the rest of the way to into Delaware. They've done some really, really good things this season, but they've been hampered by the injuries. They certainly hurt themselves in a couple of moments here today. They've had some bright spots so far through the year. This is a tough one to lose.
Second and 10 for Locklear. Under pressure, spins away from it, and just throws it away to bring up third down. You asked Scotty Walden in meetings yesterday kind of who influenced him the most. He said, you know, came from a D3 school, played quarterback at Sul Ross State. He was a 22-year-old offensive coordinator. Said he was calling plays for guys he played with the year before, but he said after one of those first years, he sent out about 120 emails. He got 2 responses. One of them was Dennis Darnell, who played and coached at Missouri State, coached a lot of places. He said he told him, come down in the offseason on a Saturday morning. Said he taught him all about the offensive line play, taught him how to be a young coach and dealing with young players as they get it out to Odom, who is racing down the sideline and just tripped up in what is a big tackle to keep them out of the end zone with 22 seconds left. Hamilton ran him down.
This is one of those situations where it looked like for the Owls, they just kind of gave up on this play.
It's a big tackle.
Previous play is under review.
Because if he goes in, then you do have 20 seconds to kick an onside kick and throw a Hail Mary potentially.
Let's take another look at this. What an incredible play. from Kenny Odom after catching this football. Now, I thought he went down after he caught it in between traffic because it looked like he stumbled some here. I thought that knee may have been down in that moment. It looks like it was, which would definitely bring this back. As you could kind of tell with the bounce up, the way he bounced back up, the ground was influential in helping him bounce up with that speed. But wow, he is a electric football player with the football in his hands.
Our replay officials Tyson Moser and Ricky Prine taking a look at this. Good eyes, partner.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Nice job from Mylan Jones there from the free safety position, trying to fight off a offensive lineman, number 29, to try to make a play on Odom. I know we're still trying to close out here, Chucky, but to kind of just summarize here, I think with what Walden has done with his team, things are looking positive for UTEP and the Miners for sure. But I have no doubt that Conference USA Coach of the Year at this stage has got to be Coach Mack. And what they have done in a mere matter of months out here in Kennesaw. And that's the interesting thing too for me, Chucky. So I'm from Atlanta. Shout out to Buford, where I went to high school, Buford High. I've never been to Kennesaw. Never been here. Grew up in Atlanta, hour away from here, have never come out here. So it's exciting to just see locally that this program is on the rise.
After video review, the runner's knee was down at the 49-yard line. It'll be 4th down and 4 at that spot. This includes a 10-second subtraction from the game clock. The game clock will be set to 22 seconds and start on the ready for play.
Takes away about 46, 47 yards on that gain by Odom. Now 4th down for UTEP to try and keep this game alive with just 22 seconds left. Or actually, still trying to sort this out. Should be adding time back. Still have not seen that go back up on the clock. Celebration on hold.
Pausing just for a moment. You have to be thrilled and excited. And like the luxury for Coach Mack and company is they got a good football team now, but this area, I mean, again, I'm a product of Atlanta, the local product. There's a lot of talent here in Atlanta in this local area that they'll be able to pull from recruiting-wise. The future looks super bright for Kennesaw State.
Lockley are going to run it on 4th down, runs through the tackler. Stops the clock momentarily while they reset the football. Jericho Washington on the stop, just 11 seconds left in this game. Ticking on what will likely be the final play. Deep ball toward Davis, incomplete pass, zeros on the clock. Jerry Mack gets a Gatorade bath, and Kennesaw State is bowl eligible for the first time in program history.
The game is not over. The game is not over.
That's unfortunate for Coach Mack because he's got to be freezing at this moment after the Gatorade bath.
So they said the game is not over, but there's about 400 people on the field right now.
There was 1 second on the game clock. Please set the game clock for 1 second.
Both halves are going to end with both teams either leaving or entering the field as if it were over and then coming back out for 1 second.
Really are pausing on this celebration here.
I want to ask you this before we get off the air. Kennesaw State, they're going to get back on the Saturday schedule. They're going to play 4 straight Saturdays to finish the season. We talked about injuries for both teams tonight. As a player, week to week, this final month of the season, how are you taking care of yourself that little bit extra to try and stay healthy for your team?
Well, one of the things I think that gets underrated in recovery is sleep. Like finding time and making sure that you go to sleep. I mean, for these student athletes, it's tough because you've got your class schedule, you've got practice schedule, and lifting. But I remember in many moments, especially late into the season,
Timeout. Kennesaw State. 30 seconds.
having to be incredibly intentional about getting sleep during the week, on the weekends, night before games, all that, but prioritizing getting sleep for your body, because these nights are long, these games are long. And then to be thrown off in rhythm too, with Kennesaw State having to play back-to-back Tuesday night games, it makes it a bit challenging too, thrown off the schedule some. So sleep really is the underrated thing in my opinion.
1 second on the clock. They should have reloaded on the bath and given Jerry Mack another one. There's plenty. I'm looking at the sideline, all the Powerade coolers. There's plenty down there.
It was yellow before, maybe they do the blue next time just to mix it up.
What a job he's done. Was with the Jacksonville Jaguars last year as the running backs coach. Spent time at Tennessee for 3 seasons in the same role. And he is putting Kennesaw State on the map. This is the final play. Locklear winds up, throws to the end zone, and it is incomplete. And officially, Kennesaw State is bowl eligible, and they are 4-0 in Conference USA. They've got 3 of their next 4 on the road as the celebration begins in Kennesaw, Georgia. They have won 6 straight and have to think they'll be the favorites down the stretch. Big matchups ahead, certainly in 2 weeks. At Jacksonville State, UTEP on the season falls to 2-6. For Jeff Graham, our producer, director TJ McGinnis, my partner Darius Walker, I'm Chucky Kemp. We thank you so much for joining us for some weekday Conference USA football. 33-20, Kennesaw State wins it.